The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
I don't have any fucking chug jugs. I don't have a chunky. Someone almost smashed my car today. I'm in a bad mood. Everybody fucking watch out. I am grumpy and surly, and I'm looking at green shirt over there. Hey. Welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 211 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is a phantasmagorical spin kick straight through the heart of pop culture, navigated by the Deadites. The Deadites are the world's greatest electroshock band. We destroy monsters, we drink booze, we win championship belts, and we talk to people from the future. Isn't that right, MZ?
That's very true, man. How did we acquire this technology? That's amazing.
It is crazy, but we will introduce our guests in just one moment. We have two very, very special guests joining us. And tonight, let me just get through this real quick. We're going to talk about the Korean film, The Wailing. This horror thriller is sporadically playing throughout the U.S. and is playing festivals. And we're going to discuss that film. And then also, we're going to talk to our guests about some of the stuff they've been working on, some of the stuff they've been doing. So first up, we do have our intercontinental friend. He is from the future, as we said. He also is a member of the See Here podcast. He is our buddy from Korea. We're talking to Tim from Korea, my friend.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, man.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here, man, and hang out with you thugs.
The future sounds so exciting, man. What's it like over there?
Hey, I'll give you a little secret. Give up already.
I think Wolfie said that he's the incontinent champion, right?
No.
That's right, man.
Intercontinental. I almost said bicontinental, but I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Intercontinental, incontinental, depends.
And Mars, do you want to go ahead since this our other guest has been long time in the making? Do you want to go ahead and introduce our other guest?
No.
All right.
I am very, very excited. As I said off air, we made a short list of people that we wanted to have on the show, and this guy was right at the top. I'm not positive why it took so long, probably because a lot of times I would say to Wolfie, hey, we should have Brian Harris this week, and Wolfie would say, that's a good idea. And then a shiny bird would fly by, and I would be distracted until it was time to do it again. But, ladies and gentlemen, he is the man behind Wang Chop Magazine. He is the one, the only, and someone who had to put up with Monster Zero before we did, so that's worth saying. He is the one, the only, Brian Harris.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
And you also cultivate a really great Facebook group as well.
I do. I do. I had quite a few out there. Yeah.
So it's awesome having you guys here. So for Tim, what he's bringing, aside from his extensive knowledge, he just went to BiFan, the Bucheon International Fantastic Film Festival. And
Actually, it's pronounced BiFan, but that's okay.
You're all hung up on the
I
BiFan.
like
Yeah.
BiFan.
It's not the B Continental or anything like that.
oh, it could be.
I'm a BiFan.
Well, what's funny is that the city actually was called Puchon, and it was actually Pifan for years. And then what they did was they changed the name Bucheon, the city, because apparently according to when the Japanese had occupied Korea, they changed the names of all the cities.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when the Koreans eventually went and changed them back, for example, Busan is now known as Busan.
Right.
And then there's, and then it was Puchon, which is now Puchon. So that's why they changed it to BiFan now.
We got a lot of
But
history
anyway.
on the show.
Well,
That's kind of a dick move. Like,
Quick,
hey,
yeah. Quick, someone throw out a dick joke. So I'm really curious to hear all about, your experience there, some of the flicks that you saw, and some of the people that you met. I know that you met a couple friends in the film world. One of our good friends in Kurando Mitsutake. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, we're going to hear a little bit more about that later. And then also, Brian does Wang's Chop magazine. And so you do a couple, you have a lot going on, Brian. You do a couple magazines, right?
Yeah.
And you have the Facebook groups and everything. So I'm really curious. I want people to find out more about what you have going on, where they can get it, and where, what it's all about. So we'll definitely tackle those subjects a little bit later on, maybe after the film review. But definitely want to get some more information and let people know where they can find all that stuff.
Awesome.
So I guess we'll jump right into intros since nobody has derailed anything yet. I say that.
Do it quick, man.
Yeah, I look around.
Yeah.
I thought someone was gonna jump in.
Give me time. Give me time.
So I am Johnny Wolfenstein, the pencil pusher and producer of media for Trick or Treat Radio, the Deadites, and the Grand Guignol Network. And the Grand Guignol Network, we currently have 6 podcasts on the network. Obviously, we have ourselves, Trick or Treat Radio. We're live every Wednesday night on trickortreatradio.com, or you can go to live.trickortreatradio.com. And also, we drop the audio on Friday morning. So every single Friday morning, Michael Ravenchat, I'm going to have you help me out here.
Yes.
So there's 3 things in life you can count on. What are they?
They had death, taxes, and Trick or Treat Radio every Friday morning.
There's probably a 4th thing in there, but you've been pretty good. I was going to say
Yeah.
Michael Ravenchat,
Yeah.
drunk.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just Friday.
Yeah.
It's not.
Or Michael Ravenchat smoking.
Yeah. Once again, it's not day specific. It's 24/7 in the future, in the
It's-
past.
It's also worth saying that he's constantly getting mugged by 2 of those things.
Yeah.
Wait, let me ask Tim. In the future, is Michael Ravenchat drunk? I think he's looking into the future.
Jeez,
It's a very complicated process.
Yeah.
There's a lot of complex machinations involved in that. Or I'm dead, probably. Maybe he's holding back.
Or that.
I don't want to say yet.
No comment.
No comment.
Don't buy any green bananas.
Why not?
Because I'll be dead before they're yellow, bro.
He's like Miss Cleo. The answer is in the cards.
Well, she's
dead.
Yeah,
She's
she's
dead,
no longer
too.
around.
She just saw that coming.
Or maybe she did.
Oh, man.
I can tell you something from the future.
Oh, okay.
She's still dead.
Okay.
Well, apparently, maybe Raven Shadow's still alive. That's a cliffhanger.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Stay tuned next week.
Stay tuned, yeah.
I would like to know because it affects me watching or not.
And then we also have on the network on Mondays, we drop Unchained. Go check those guys out every single Monday. On Tuesday, we have the Television Crossover Universe podcast with Robert Eronski. Wednesdays, we have the Elm Street Kids Movie Club
Yeah, that's on Wednesday.
with Mr. Mars and Ms. Wiley.
Though the normal pronunciation of Miss Wiley south of the border is Los Diablo.
Los Diablo.
Los Diablo redhead.
And on Thursday, we have the Throwdown Thursday podcast with Agent Nicole. Built her first, and Patsy the Angry Nerd. And then we also have, like I said, Fridays, Trick or Treat Radio. And then on Sundays, we have the Outside Corner Fantasy Baseball podcast. Go ahead, check out all the shows, subscribe, 5-star, all that business. All right, let's move on. We also have the Immortal Gunslinger, the singer and lyricist for the Deadites, and the co-host of of that aforementioned Elm Street Kids Movie Club, Dynamo Mars.
Hi.
Hi, Dynamo.
I'm really upset today.
Why?
I'm having a bad day.
Well,
I am drunk with hatred, as Tiny White was back in the day.
I think you're fairly inebriated with hate.
Total. Very impaired with hatred. Someone almost smashed my car today. The side that's not already smashed.
Yeah.
My transportation got messed up, so I don't have a chunky or chug jugs.
Oh,
This is
man.
a fucking disaster. And the best part was that the lady,
Why didn't MZ stop?
the lady called, the lady like made very broad based assumptions about the sexuality of my 2013 Dodge Dart.
About your
Oh
car?
yeah, I read that. I read that.
Yeah, she said, and I quote, this isn't me, folks.
Oh,
Wh-
shit.
what-
Cornelius just said personal 9/11 part 2.
She said, what? She said, watch out with your faggot car.
You can't say that.
That's what she said.
No, you can't say that.
See?
What?
You're a
What?
fucking rabbit hole
I-
now.
Oh, my God. You can't say that on the air.
No, I was saying what she said, and I
Yeah.
quote.
Well, someone else was quoting something else, too.
Yeah,
Oh,
but, yeah, but I didn't say it with, like, I didn't add a bunch of S's because I was drunk.
well, you're drunk on hatred.
No, I am
You
drunk.
did
on it.
say you were
Yeah,
drunk, yeah.
Timestamp.
Well, that's. I don't know if that's even. I don't even know if that's the worst thing that she said to me, though. She called.
Yeah, say
me,
the other word.
She called me. She made an assumption on my ethnicity that is preposterous.
That's fair. I mean, you're very Caucasian. Let's just.
Yeah, well, she said she a bad slang word for a Spanish, someone of Spanish descent.
Does it run with Rick?
Yep.
Rick Grimes?
Yeah.
She called you Rick Grimes?
I did tell her that my car was gay until it saw you. Now it's sworn off all women. Because she was huge.
Guess.
Am I allowed to
It
say that
was-
people are fat?
Yeah.
Is that where we're at
It
now?
was blank and span, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
The lady,
okay.
this lady was so big that her SUV almost buckled under her getting out of the car,
Yeah.
and she was so she was full of hate. She was full
She's
of
probably
hate.
full of
and-
Slim Jims and hamburgers too.
True, yeah. She was so angry, and she was spitting while she was talking, like to the point where you could see the spit on the car. Like
Wow.
she was angry, but we were backing into a parking spot, and she like zoomed in and got the parking spot behind us.
Wow.
And it wasn't one. There was like a curb there, so it wasn't one of those ones where you could like drive in diagonally. Like
Man,
She put-
imagine a quarter ton of angry fat coming at
she
you.
put the back of my apparently gay car in jeopardy. I'll still love my Dodge if it's gay. I don't have a problem. We've never
Sounds
talked.
to me like she had more chins than a Chinese phone book.
No, it's true. It was terrible. She was real. Like honestly, you know who she looked like? It took me all day to figure it out. Remember the lady in the Dawn of the Dead remake who they had in the furniture store?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she looked just like that lady, but
She looked all haggard and.
But
and-
more
one
dead.
of those babies in Nothing But Trouble.
Yeah. Man, this is the second Nothing But Trouble reference in like a week.
There should be more.
Yeah.
No.
But like, yeah, I hadn't thought about that movie in ages, but now I gotta track it down. Yeah, but I was angry all day. I was angry,
Yeah.
and then something happened on the internet to get me angry too. I can't remember. But I was pissed off all day. Like, and then
No, man, when somebody cuts you off with your car or somebody fucks with your car, you always have to keep an extra bag of sugar on hand, man. Bag of sugar in the gas tank. Works. That's what works like a charm every time.
if I put sugar in this lady's car, she would have sucked it out with a straw. I just hope this lady puts the dye in diabetes.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Ah,
No, I was fucking pissed, and then she started
know you are,
swearing
I
at me
can
right
tell.
away.
Hey, you have every right to be mad, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and that was her lead-in. Get your F car out of my like I forget what she said. Like, I was just so confused. I was like, why? Like, why is my like why like not even me. Like,
Yeah, your car.
yeah,
She knew better to insult you than your
yeah,
car.
It's not the car's fault.
right, yeah,
Cars just born that way.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I
Yeah, factory
still love
issue.
it. Yeah, but like, I don't know, like. In I don't know what planet we can be backing into a parking spot and then zooming in to get. It's because what it is that we were at the mall, and if this lady had to park one row up, she would not have made it to the mall. So it was essential she was in that first row, because at that point inertia can just take her all the way to the front door. But like I'm pissed. I am angry.
but you know what, Mars? You shouldn't be, because man, you know, as mad as you can get, at least you're still not that Crisco behemoth.
It's true. But I'm
So
telling
don't
you,
worry- don't
I've
worry
been
about it,
nice.
man.
I've been nice and kind. I've been trying to be, after being sick, I've been trying to be a nicer kind of Dynamo, but I don't know. It's close. It's
She
close.
almost made you snap back.
Yeah.
All right.
Like Dre says, turn me back to the old me.
Right. No, one time, I was walking in the park here, and this woman she spoke a little English, and she said to me, she says, "Your dog is fat. How did your dog get so fat?" And I looked at her and I said, "The same way you did, lady. She ate." So, I mean, I know you're feeling, man. Sometimes it's just like you just want to get down to that last nerve, and you're just ready to,
My response was so on, too. I was disappointed that I wasted it on someone who was so angry they weren't even listening, and B, like no one heard it except for that lady. Because I don't even, when I told her that my car was straight, but then seeing her made him swear off women forever, it was just lost on the iceberg that took down the Titanic. So, I don't know. I wish I could remember what else made me mad. I started to calm down a little bit because something nice happened, and then I got mad again. But something on the internet made me mad today. Plus, Donald Trump.
Something on the internet made you mad? No way.
Yeah.
No. I do not believe this.
Plus, Donald Trump saying you can shoot people. Everything's just fucking out of control.
Somebody
right
was climbing his fucking Trump tower.
Yeah,
today.
right. Yeah, I saw that.
What the fuck is going on in the world?
This planet's in trouble, man.
Tim was right. He said, "Don't fucking abandon all hope," or whatever the fuck he said.
Abandon. Yeah, there should be a big sign on the North Pole, and one that you could see from space, and it says, "Abandon all hope, ye who enters here."
Yeah, right. That's probably the same thing that they would have hanging over the Sarlacc pit that was between that fat lady's legs.
Slowly digested over 1,000 years.
I'm just
and it probably actually said, "Feed me, Seymour, I'm hungry."
So, but here's where I am now. So I posted that on the internet. I got mad, and then I was in my office, and I'm like, should I delete that? Should I delete that? People going to come out of nowhere and start telling me that I'm insensitive and everything else? Is that where we're at? And then I said, fuck it. I hope everybody gets as mad as I am. I hope.
I'm sure there are a few people that are.
Yeah, I was so fucking waiting for somebody to be like, she's angry and bitter because she's heavy and the world has an inappropriate body shape. No, she's angry and bitter because I got in between her and third lunch.
James in the chat room says, some teenager on a bike flicked me off on Monday and said, "Fuck you." It made me sad for the future. I was pissed longer than I should have been.
That teenager was me, James. I was trying to up Michael Ravensshaw's giant peach joke from a few weeks ago.
You know what's funny is it was probably Slagoth's son. No, I'm just kidding. Slagoth, I imagine his son is a pretty awesome dude.
Yeah.
Well, he had to go back to school today, so I can understand
Today?
why he'd be pissed. Yeah.
Early in Florida.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, it sucks.
Really?
All right.
Ready?
Yeah, he posted it. He said,
Jesus fucking
someone
Christ, crocodile
went back
school still.
Crocodile
I know.
school?
that kid's not even digested in the crocodile yet before that kid ends up going to go to school.
What? Whoa.
Whoa.
What did you do to him?
Oh, is he? Did he hurt a rib again?
That's the last one.
Did he crack another rib?
I think he Rodmaned his penis.
3 times. Wow, I'm good.
The second time or the third one.
Are you okay, dude? He's holding his mouth.
And
I don't know.
And his crotch. I think he broke his penis.
Are you like?
I didn't even hear. I don't even know what he's laughing at. What'd you say?
No, I'm just saying the kid from Florida who was eaten by the crocodile isn't even properly digested, and all these kids have to go back to school already.
It's really awesome you get to say it again. That's good for people. We're sorry,
If
guys.
I need to, I'll say it a third time.
All right, speaking.
I just swallowed a whole Dorito whole.
Oh, that's what it was.
Before we go to Dr. Sensitivity over here, I should mention that this week's episode of the Cult of Muscle, those guys were lucky enough to invite me, partially because
lucky enough to invite you.
No, I was lucky enough to be invited.
Wow!
Timestamp.
Yeah, they were lucky.
Did you hear
enough.
that, Jakey Poon?
I actually like.
You're welcome.
It's not that I didn't ask to be on the episode, but I warned them that. My last voicemail that I sent them about the movie they were covering, I stopped when I realized it was 11 minutes long, and I had tried to re-record the same voicemail a million times, and Jake was like, "Just come on." 3.5, almost 4 hours later, I bet they regret that, but
I think it was close to 5 hours.
No.
It was.
Really?
Yes.
I'll tell you what, if
I think
you
it was
listen to
4
it,
hours, 45 minutes.
I'll say this one time. If you listen to it, normally when I'm on that show and it's long, it's my fault. I don't think it was this time.
It was whatever you and CDR were drinking.
No, that was at the end. I don't know if CDI was even drinking, but, like, I don't know. The last hour of that show goes off the reservation. But, oh, man, I just need another bad joke. I didn't even mean to. But, yeah, so go check out this week's Cult of Muscle. We review Suicide Squad and Cyber City Udo 808.
Cool. Everyone go check that out. Next up, we have the vulgar guru of horror, star of Blood Pigs and Fetus, which recently was found in, apparently Joe Bigas has a copy of MZ's movies.
Yes.
He's also a one-time contributor for Horror Hound magazine, Monster Zero.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Brian. Where'd he go?
I'm here.
Oh, good. There you are. Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
You're going to have to step into the Wayback Machine for this. You and I,
Oh, man. Okay.
you and I, we did a couple of shows together. Do you recall back around, let's see, around 2010, 2011, a very poorly done show called Taste of Fear?
I do not.
No?
In fact, who is this?
He brought who's calling me? Who is this?
Put Mars back on the phone.
I did a show. I'm trying to remember the original title of the show. I used to do a show with Louis Paul.
Yes.
And Louis Paul bailed out for certain reasons, and you and another big-time horror fan, Danae Dunning, came in. And we did a show that it was called The Taste of Fear, and lasted all of about maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
This was on Creepshow Radio.
Yeah, I do remember. I think I think after that show, I think it started back up again. I think that's when it was renamed Pieces, I think.
Okay.
I think I went on without Danae for, I don't know, I think 5 months maybe, I think. I think, yeah. So, yeah, I do remember.
Okay.
Now I remember.
Okay, yeah. Well, I used to do that show with you. We worked together for about 2 or 3 weeks.
You made an impact, apparently.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what? The thing is that the
No. It's just that I do so much that, like...
No, I believe it. I do so little. That's why I'm able to remember it.
One-time contributor.
Yeah.
That's right. Again.
That's right. A one-time contributor to Horror Hound magazine.
One time dressed as a Bible.
Yes, one time dressed as a Bible too. Hey, that was against my will. I was like 7 years old at the time.
Wow.
I already given my soul to Satan at that point, And but yeah, you and I, we worked together, and
Satan's like, who are you again?
and now here we are, 6 years later or so, 5 years later, 6 years, and
he doesn't remember it.
Click. He has no recollection of. He's just saying that just to satisfy me. He has no recollection of this show at all.
You went under the name Rabid Rich, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
For a while, I actually had those shows. I think I downloaded those shows. I had them on a server. A hard drive for quite a while. I kept all the podcasts that I used to do.
Well, when I did the show with Lewis, it was very bizarre because it was my first time doing any kind of podcasting, any kind of radio. So my voice was very, very nervous, and I didn't, my mind really wasn't into the facts of of the films that Lewis and I were talking about. I was just so nervous talking on radio, and even though it wasn't like, actual radio, but still. It got me going, and it's like, man, I never was really comfortable with the format of that show either, where they would talk about where Lewis and I would basically go scene by scene through one or two films through the duration of the show, and I was never very comfortable with that, and which is not to say I never did work with Lewis. I know the guy, and we've worked together, and he's a cool guy. I really dig him. He's smart, and he knows a lot of stuff. And then when we went over to Taste of Fear, it something about it just didn't click. It just did not click right. I don't know if it was me. It could have been Danae for all we know.
No, it wasn't.
I can guarantee you,
it was me. Right?
It wasn't. It wasn't Danae, that's for sure.
And it was around that time. It was around that time where David Hess passed away, and we did the tribute show to him. And we had you and Chris McGibbon on, and Danae, myself. I think Lewis was on as well, and a couple of other people.
Chris McGibbon of Creepshow Radio.
That's right. And then that was the end of it. After that, the show kind of died out, and we all went our separate ways after that. But now here we are again, roughly 6 years later, and now we're. I've been doing this show now for 4 years.
Don't take career advice from me, but I think you should get out of this and be a professional storyteller.
I'll do 402 stories. How does that sound?
No,
I'll do
508.
401k stories.
No, I don't like that.
I don't know what that means, but
All right. Let me just catch up real quick in the chat room. First time, Michael says, "What's up, family? Back from vacation.
Hey,
Good
Michael.
to see everybody tonight."
Hey, first time.
And to my Italian friend Raven Shadow, Bombaleo.
Oh, Bombaleo.
And everyone was laughing at you, MZ, for for Brian not remembering. Slagon says that was brutal. Cornelius said,
"Pay attention. I didn't mean to do it like that. I do remember it."
No, it's awesome that you did.
Yeah. Cornelius says, Personal 9/11 Part 3. Oh, shit. First time, Michael also says hello to Tim from the future.
nice.
Hey.
I guess that means that me and MZ are the Twin Towers of Sorrow.
Yep. Yep. You were tower number 1. I'm tower number 2. Let's see. Which one went down first?
Jesus Christ. Who's fucking next, Johnny?
God! Who went down on who?
No. Which one collapsed first?
Monster Zero did on the way
Number
over.
2? Was it number 2 that went down first? All right, you're number 2 and I'm number 1.
What are you talking about?
Brian, I'm sorry, man. Listen, Tim,
Tim is used to this.
now I know why you left the fucking country. Jesus Christ. You got room over there, Tim?
You got a couch you can sleep on.
Can you smoke in Korea?
Shut up, you rat fuck.
You rap man.
Yeah.
All right, we also have the chain smoking, hand kissing, baby shaking, Lorazepam loving, former comic book reading nerd, and the official smoke machine for Castle Wolfenstein, Michael Ravenshadow.
That's right. Let's get down to it, boppers.
Boppers?
Are those called boppers?
Oh, the bee bopper.
That's
Take
my-
that crazy bee bopper, kid. Give me some skin.
What is going on?
He just quoted one of my favorite movies ever.
See? Thank you.
What's up in there?
what was that? I didn't
The
get it.
Warriors.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay,
Yeah.
nice. Patsy's in the back.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Warriors,
Patsy, speaking of Patsy, loves MZ's shirt, Albert Fish.
I got a pretty awesome shirt on. It's the nerdiest shirt ever.
Yeah, but we can't see her on camera, so
That's
no one
okay.
can see it. So
yeah,
it's
no
all
one's
right.
gonna. It was bought. A lady bought it for me though, so that.
Ooh.
What's that old story? There was a man named Albert Fish, and children were his favorite dish.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Little Grace Bud.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, I got a D&D shirt on. It's really nerdy, but Wiley bought it for me. It's the first time I wore it. So.
We're talking about Albert Fish here.
Oh, sorry. Albert
No,
Fish
like,
probably doesn't
what is
remember
that,
you either.
A Paladin D&D shirt, or just a regular?
No, it's got a D20 on it. It's even more nerdy than that.
What's the text on it?
It says, "When my DM smiles, it's already too late.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You got your DM.
Never kiss a girl."
Yep.
All right, well, that's everyone on the show. We've already gone over what we're going to do. Why don't we go ahead and talk about, real quick, we have the fundraiser going on. And we were going to have it end tonight, but we'll see. If we get enough contributions, maybe we'll end it tonight. But if not, we may keep it going a little longer. But go to trickortreatradio.com. Go ahead and click on the ticket that says Grand Guignol Fundraiser. and you can go ahead and donate to the show, and it'll help us to get some additional equipment in here, get some stuff that was broken and or in disrepair, and just get some other stuff in here for equipment and to help the studio out for all the shows on the network, not just us. So give that a look, and we also have some cool stuff. For every $25 you give, you'll get a theatrical poster sent to you, and there's some other pretty cool stuff on there. So give it a look. We also have a few other ways you can support the show. You can go ahead and give us a donation on through PayPal, right on the front page of trickortreatradio.com. You can use Amazon. Use our Amazon link. Click on that Amazon logo. Everything you purchase in that session gets attributed to us, and it doesn't cost them any extra, Michael Raven Shadow.
But it helps keep the lights on.
That's right. So go ahead and use that for all your Amazon shopping. We also have our friends over at XSplit.
XSplit.
And they provide the live streaming you see here on Wednesday nights. So if you're interested in doing a live stream, whether it's a podcast, whether you do a Let's Play, Watch Us Die like our friends over at Horror Made and Haunting TV, go ahead and give XSplit a look. And then also, finally, we have our friends over at Horror Pack. If you want to receive 4 DVDs or Blu-rays directly to your door every month, they have this cool horror subscription service. You sign up, you pick DVD or Blu-ray, send it right to your door every single month. You get some cool stuff. They're starting to do some more rare and exclusive stuff, so give it a look. And if you click on our link on the front page of trickortreatradio.com, we get a little bit of cut of that as well. So if you do want to support the show, there's a few ways you can do it. And every little bit helps out.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something too, man. Every week you guys hit the ground running with the show, and for anybody out there, that has any qualms about, or maybe a little, hesitant about funding the show, I'll tell you right now, these guys aren't living on cocaine and strippers. I mean, everything that goes into this show, every penny that goes into the show goes straight into the show. And I mean, man, like, I thank you guys so much each week, because for me, man, it's like an oral insane asylum that just makes me laugh my ass off every single week. I mean, regardless of what you're going through in the week, man, you guys give us all so much, and it just, it takes me away for a couple of hours, 3 or 4 hours a week, and it really, man, it just makes me thankful that you guys are around. So for those of you that are new to Trick or Treat Radio, please, a little is a lot. A little is a lot. And I mean, these guys give much more than any of us, really are putting into this. I mean, you're giving us more than we're giving you, and we should be giving back a hell of a lot more.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, future Tim.
We appreciate it, bud. And, we appreciate all your support throughout the years, so it's definitely welcome. And I think that's it. I think we've talked about everything we need to talk about. I gotta say, this is one of the films that I'm most excited to talk about. I don't know why, but there's something about this film I was thinking about it, how excited I was to talk to you guys about this.
Earlier today, you ruled out any film that wasn't from Korea.
And you always take me at face value for every single thing that I say.
Yeah. Why would you? Why did I not?
Okay.
I don't know what are you trying to say?
So we are going to head to a break in just a moment.
Yes.
But before we do that, Michael Raven Shadow.
Yes.
You sit down to watch a film from Korea. A 2.5-hour film from Korea.
It was fucking longer than 2.5 hours.
Nope. 2 hours, 35 minutes.
Let's fucking timestamp that shit, man. I had fucking short hair and I was clean shaven. And if you're watching the fucking live feed, you'll know the answer to that.
Plus he had to read.
Yeah, yes, Tim.
The real challenge.
You're fucking right.
Yeah,
that
is the real challenge.
God fucking damn it. It's a lot of reading.
You're fucking unbelievable.
I am fucking unbelievable.
I bet you're unbelievable. It's dissatisfied.
A lot of them letters in that education there. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't go to every grade, Tim.
Yeah.
All right, Raven Shadow. Well, what do you do to prepare yourself for a film of this magnitude? What do you do?
Took a couple of fucking naps, I'll tell you that much. No, before I put it on, I adjusted my thong, banged the gong, then I strapped on.
Scary story. Do you love to dance? The Big Scary Monster Hunts at Midnight is a collection of dark songs about sex, love, death, revenge, and the end of the world. Brought to you by the world's greatest
Fireball?
What's up, y'all? It's me, the Yeti. Telling all the ladies that they couldn't be more fine and that we should knock those boots like Frankenstein. When I want to get my nerd on, I go to Facebook and I go to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. That's the place where I get to talk about all the hip new horror movies, all the cool comics,
Like comics.
RPGs, video games, you name it, we're talking about shit on there. And you could not be any cooler if you were the coolest kid in school. Be the first kid on your block to swing their cock over at the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search for Trick or Treat Radio, ask to join, and it's like Nerd Nirvana, baby, without the shotgun blast. This is the Yeti, signing out. See you at the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group.
Follow us on Twitter at The Deadites, TheDeadites.com, and TrickOrTreatRadio.com.
Trick or Treat Radio is the greatest podcast ever invented. The spelling is very bad. I'm not sure who wrote this. And the Deadites? The Deadites. Is that a company that procures houses? The Deadites. Oh, it's the Deadites. The Deadites are a fantastic musical act. That is what I was supposed to say. And there you go. There it is. Cheeseburger. Remember to rent The Fly, because that's a good movie for making love to.
Jeff Goldblum, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we can get you on the show again sometime soon.
All right, we're back on Trick or Treat Radio, and we're about to talk about the Wailing.
All right, let me get my
Get your what?
get my shit together.
What shit are you getting together? It's about fucking time you get your shit together.
Well, yeah, I'm a late bloomer.
All right, so let me go ahead and run down some of the stats of this flick. This flick is from 2016. And it is, as we said, 2 hours and 36 minutes. It is a fantasy horror mystery. The original title, and Tim, you can probably correct me on this because I know this is the name of a town. Would you pronounce it Goksung?
Goksung.
Goksung.
Yeah.
All right.
Goksung. Yeah.
There you go. And it was directed by Hong-jin Na, and also
Hong-jin.
Hong-jin. So I always get confused because they obviously list the names in reverse usually. So
Right. It's the last name usually in the English pronunciation is the first name, the family name.
Right. So Na Hong-jin, and it was also written by the man. And we have for the cast, I guess I'm going to have to reverse the names here too. MZ, you want to help me out on this?
Not on your life.
I do know Jun Kunimura.
Jun Kunimura is the only one that I'm going to help you with. Yes.
We have Do-won Kwak. We have Woo-hee Chun, Young Min Hwang, and Su-ying Jang. And MZ's killing bugs.
What that fly ever do to you? Hey! That's mean!
MZ's killing bugs in here.
It's a flying
It's
ant.
a fly.
Well, maybe if you guys didn't let him in.
There's no need to have killed that fly. You are a bully.
That's evidence right there, folks.
Yeah, you are a bully, sir. That was totally unnecessary. That wasn't a mosquito.
Yeah, that was a fly, and it could have landed on your Doritos.
I would have ate it.
Your Cool Ranch Doritos.
I would have shared my Doritos with the fly.
Cool Ranch mosquito.
Yeah.
All right, the synopsis. A stranger arrives in a little village, and soon after, a mysterious sickness starts spreading. A policeman is drawn into the incident and is forced to solve the mystery in order to save his daughter. So this flick has been on our radar for a little bit, but I think it got bumped up a little bit because we had Jakey Poo had recommended this to us a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was about a month ago now. And I also know our buddy El Goro had reviewed it on his show, and I avoided the review on purpose because I knew we'd be talking about it. But this is a flick that's been getting a lot of praise lately. And Tim, I'm going to cut over to you real quick. I'm curious, what's the buzz about this film in Korea? Because clearly here in America, it's been getting a decent buzz. It's playing in select theaters, and it's playing festivals and stuff like that. So is there a similar or different buzz for it in Korea?
Well, it actually won the main award at the Busan Film Festival.
Oh, okay.
Good.
And I first have to say, like, not as a spoiler or anything, but there's a lot of things in this film that are not really going to be apparent to anyone outside of Korea. There's a lot of, I don't want to get into it too deep now, but I would say that to me this is somewhat of a political film because there's a lot of metaphors and things that are conveyed in this film that are actually kind of connected to a lot of things that have been occurring in Korea in the last 5 or 6 years. But and I think that a lot of people, this is really a jump for Hong-jin, the director, because the last 2 films that he made were primarily action films, that being The Yellow Sea and The Chaser. Mm-hmm. They were more crime-based films, whereas this one was, he kind of veered left into something that was more supernatural.
Right.
And this film has done really, really well here. But like I said, for Korean audiences, they get it on a different level, and I would say somewhat on a deeper level than foreign audiences would.
All right. So this flick here, I'm kind of at a loss of where to start. This film, I had pretty, I wouldn't say I had high expectations because I just heard a lot of good things, and I try not to let the expectations affect me. And I know that's been a discussion that we've had a lot on this show. But I guess let me real quick and put Brian on the spot. And Brian, I mean, obviously you guys cover on Weng's Chop. You guys cover all sorts of stuff. You horror, cult, all sorts of stuff. But is this a film that was on your radar? And what was your anticipation level of it? And had you seen it prior to seeing it for the show?
Yeah, I actually saw it prior to the show, and that I make it a personal point in most of the groups on Facebook that I run to try to feed them as much new upcoming films as I can, so that way they're not stuck on Freddy.
Yeah,
Jason. No disrespect to anyone that enjoys that kind of thing, but. And the Wailing came up, and of course, when it was mentioned that it was from the director of The Chaser, I was like, well, I got to see that. And Asian films being my personal favorite,
yeah.
I definitely had that at the top of my list. But I think maybe 4 or 5 months ago it sort of popped up.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of really started getting a lot of press and variety and all that stuff like that. So.
All right, cool. So this flick here, there's man, I'm at a loss of where to start. So you guys want to just jump in? Do you guys? First of all, let me just say that this is a very multi-layered flick. There's a lot going on here. Mm. There are some incredibly memorable scenes, some incredibly intense scenes,
right,
in this film, and I guess I'll just start out by saying that basically the basic story, it's pretty much the same as the synopsis. I mean, the synopsis does a good job of letting you know what it's about, but there's a lot of weird things going on. The police are investigating. There's people dying, and there's like a disease that seems to be spreading, and then there's a lot of word about like these old kind of wives' tales about this Japanese man who has recently come to the town, and since then, things are going a little weird, and he's always at the scene of all the crimes and everything like that. So the cop starts to investigate him, and from there it kind of gets a little bit deeper and darker. And then his daughter starts to get sick, and she is, experiencing these things. And I don't want to get too much more into it because this is a flick you really need to see and experience for yourself, because there's some crazy, crazy stuff that happens. But Mars Man, I know you watched this last night, and you had commented and said that. So did you listen to El Goro's review?
Yeah, and he also talked about it here. Him and Jakey had a fun little exchange.
Yep.
About his complaint about it. You know what I'm going to do? Let me get my one gripe about this movie out of the way. My one gripe, in the way of a backhanded compliment, and people can feel free to disagree with me. There is a it probably doesn't exist, but there is, potentially a 2-hour even version of this movie that's a masterpiece. It's like one of the greatest movies ever. I think I don't think it has a particular point that it lags, and I can't think of anything that I would necessarily deem unnecessary in it.
Yeah.
But I do feel with its deliberate pace in the running time, I feel like it's just not going to play as well with international audiences all the time.
And that's understandable. But the thing that I wonder if there's a higher tolerance for this sort of thing now, because a lot of times now people are binge watching television shows, especially on like Netflix, because they drop them all out at once. And let's say I know at least a handful of people that binged Stranger Things in the first weekend.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now what's
I did.
Yeah. Now,
and this isn't a long Korean film either. Like, that's worth mentioning.
Sure. So, but I guess that's the thing. I mean, I guess if you're looking, that is a choice. You're making a choice to watch multiple episodes in a row.
Yeah.
And I guess here, you're not really given that choice.
Well,
it's just here you go.
I don't think that the length necessarily bothers me. I'd said on
well,
the cult.
It didn't bother me at all.
I'd said on the as far as the time invested in it. When I was on the Cult of Muscle at 2 a.m. when we got done, I realized it was Monday and it was how long it was, and I hadn't watched it yet, and I hadn't left myself enough time, so I took advantage of a little personal time and took the day off. And when I sat down to watch the film, I had I had a really good viewing experience. I did watch it in multiple. I watched it in one sitting, but I watched it in multiple rooms, kind of. I originally started watching it out on my deck, and then it got a little buggy out there, and then so I went into the house and finished it up, and I had a great viewing experience. So I am telling you, the listener, this to put across that the length wasn't necessarily an issue for me, as I didn't feel put out watching it. I feel from a critical point of view, this film could be better with a little less film, I guess, for lack of a way to put it. That's just my personal opinion.
Sure.
I feel like some of the tension gets lost in the time because it's all the same type of kind of tension. And as a viewer, I feel like you get to the point where you're just kind of immune to it a little bit.
Sure.
I say this is the primary reason it's long, but there is a tendency for a lot of Korean films to be overextended in the theaters, because I think it's kind of almost like with a lot of Indian film, where people kind of feel that if they go to the theater and it's not 2.5 hours long, then they're ripped off.
Yeah.
And I think that in Korean cinemas, like I'm saying, a lot of films have the tendency to run over 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I'm not saying that's the main reason why, but it's just that most Korean audiences are accustomed to that.
Sure.
Those very long films. Yeah.
And I actually made that that Indian comparison earlier today when I was rapping with Wolfie about it a little bit, and I feel like this movie didn't. I will say this about this movie: and I'm talking about a lot of my favorite Korean films do it too. This film didn't commit the sin of trying to be too many different movies that I feel like a lot of Korean movies that I've seen has, and a lot that I've read about. Like, they insert like kind of a lot of broad humor at times and stuff like that. And
there is a thing that there's kind of an imbalance with this film, I think, that might throw a lot of people off. And what it is that have any of you seen Memories of Murder?
Yes.
I think I might have. I don't.
Okay.
If I did, I've seen it once.
I don't think anyone has. We were gonna review it, and then it fell off. It fell off the radar because of other newer stuff. But
if you see Memories of Murder, you go back and watch it. You'll see that in Korea, there's kind of this real kind of people look down somewhat on the police here, and they think that they're nothing more than colluded security guards. And in the United States, you look at police as dangerous. Where here, they look at a lot of the police as clowns. You're getting paid too much to sit on your ass and smoke cigarettes. Basically, you're like you're a highfalutin security guard. Well, they really put that across in Memories of Murder, the ineptitude of the police, right? And they really put it across in this film as well, the ineptitude of the police in the beginning. And in the beginning, it's almost comical, where there's this real dope, like this real kind of guy tripping over his own feet and scared of his own shadow type of thing. And then the film does a complete, like 360. I mean, the whole tone, it's just like an elevator shaft, right? And I think that for a lot of people, it might throw them off because, it's just such an extreme tonal shift in the film.
Yeah. What's funny, what's too, even their diagnosis that the first person they encountered was on acid.
Mushrooms.
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 Jesus, you should know the difference.
I never did acid.
I do. I certainly don't disagree with you, but I feel there was something about this film and the way it looked that, and I'm not even saying that humor didn't work or didn't come across for me. Like, I feel like there was, like, from the opening frame, there was, like, a visual tonality that made it almost like the ineptitude of that character came across for me almost more pathetic than comical.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I would totally agree.
But that's what I should elaborate and say that I agree with you completely. That's what I meant is more, kind of pathetic, comical, kind of like, the guy that you just shake your head and you're just like, oh God, not this guy. Like, you're such a sucker that you're in over your head. You don't even have any going on. Now, what I wanted to see, the first is that I've always that you really have.
We're losing Tim a little bit there, so.
Oh shit!
It's all right.
You hear me now?
I hear you right now. Yeah, it was just we're hearing like every third syllable. Yeah.
Okay. No, there's 2 points I wanted to make here, and that was that the first one is I've always said to people that you really haven't visited Korea if you've just visited Seoul.
Yeah.
You've really got to get outside of Korea and get into the countryside to see how gorgeous this country really is. I mean, the cinematography in this film is unbelievable. Like, especially the beginning, with the guy fishing with the sunrise and or the shots of the father sitting with his daughter on the side of a creek. Like, some of it is just so gorgeous, and the green fields and everything are just amazing. I mean, it really, really, you get the feeling of the whole rural experience in this film that's really, really killer, that I love. The other thing that I wanted to elaborate on is that this film does something that's kind of interesting that hasn't been done in Korean film for a good long while, and that is that they bring up the old Korean tradition of the mudang. And the mudang is what they call the shaman here.
Yeah, yeah.
And they bring up the old Korean shamanism, and this is something whereas the younger generations here really have no knowledge of or really no interest in.
Right.
But the old school, the grandmothers and grandfathers and those in the past, they still hang things in the doorways of their homes, and they still believe in a lot of that old superstition. And then there are still mudangs in Korea that do exist, and people go and have them bless their pregnant wives for a son or a daughter or prosperity or all these things. I mean, this still happens here. This is not something that's fantasy. I mean, this is something that is a part of Korean culture that still exists.
It's pretty interesting, and I had wondered about that because in watching this film, we're so out of tune with the culture, and that's why I'm so glad that you're here with us for this one, because there's a lot of things like that I was really curious about. One thing I did want to piggyback on a little bit of what was talked about was there definitely is a bit of like a goofy everyman feel to a lot of leads in some of the Korean films that we've digested lately. Like, and I'm calling out, like, especially like Song Kang-ho, who was in The Host and Foul King, and also in Memories of Murder. Like, he seems to play that type of character, kind of like the down on his luck kind of guy.
Yeah,
you almost
he's
feel
the god
bad.
of the god of the everyman. Yeah. He's the poster boy for that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then I felt that they were doing that a lot here with Jong-gu, the main cop here. And is that something? I mean, from the, like I said, those films that I mentioned, it seems like it's a pretty common thing of the films that I've seen. Would you say that it is fairly common, or is that just kind of limited to the films that we may have seen recently?
No, I think that it's like there are a lot of films that make these people kind of relatable to the average Korean citizen here, because I mean, and what happens too is that, like I was saying earlier, there's a kind of a lot of socio-political things that are going on with this film, and with a lot of the films, for example, like The Host and other films that kind of make Korean audiences feel like, yes, I know what they're saying here. I get this. That's me. I completely relate to what's going down here. And even though, as crazy as, it's not like a Korean guy saying, yeah, I was chased along the Han River by a prehistoric mutated monster. Yeah, I can completely relate. No, it's not like
right.
It's not like that at all. But it's just the whole context, the whole underlying, about the treatment of the government and people being in crisis, and the ineptitude of the powers that be, and people feeling like they're lost, like they're lying, a lot of going through the throat.
Maybe he's speaking Korean.
Oh man. So it sounds like we're having a little bit of a hiccup there again, my friend Tim.
Okay.
So let's I'm actually curious here about what these guys here in the back of the room have to say. We have Raven Shadow. Clearly, you didn't like the length of this movie.
I'm gonna fucking dumb it down if we're going to me right now.
Is there any other way we
wouldn't
can go?
expect anything else.
No, listen, there's definitely some smarter folks. Like it's unfortunate that we can't hear Tim continue talking. Listen, all right. So you get a great opening shot, sad sack cop. Is this?
You don't have to go over what we said. I'm just
saying, this is part of it. You know what I mean? Like, so is there a zombie thing going on?
You rehearse this?
No, I'm just trying to add something, man. Is there a zombie? All
right, let's move on to someone else.
Hey, he's some backseat fucking. Kid's a bad girl. That girl was kind of a jerk. He finds a friend.
Oh my God!
Walks on a cliff.
What are we doing?
What did you do, man?
No. All
right.
I'm gonna cut his mic if he keeps going.
Everyone wanted to feed him.
Jesus Christ.
That's sexy, right?
It sounds like your Skype is bad.
I can understand Tim much better than I can
I'm in the
understand
room.
you. Yeah, and you're in the room here.
It's not easy, Brian.
So one of the things that I will say though is I think this film is very thoughtfully directed. I just love some of the subtlety, and I can't even, we're going to get into it a little bit more. I don't want to spoil anything about this movie for the folks who haven't seen it, but there are some incredibly intense scenes in this movie. I actually had to pause the film for a little while and kind of like decompress, because that isn't typical of me. I typically don't get affected that way by films, but this one was one that really, it really ramped up. So I think this is almost like, it's, I guess, a 3-act structure. Like the first act is just kind of like setting the scene. Second one, things start to get crazy, and the third one, things are really fucking crazy.
Yeah, things go batshit crazy.
One thing that like I hate to use the term tough for me to get through, but like definitely like had me like shift around in my seat was the big exorcism scene with all
the first or the second one.
The first one.
So there was the first one. Yeah, okay. The second one had animals involved.
Yeah, no. This was
you mean the one.
Exactly.
I agree with what Tim said.
Yeah, the one with the drums and the.
Okay, so it was the second one.
The fire and everything, yeah.
Not the one where people were reacting to it, like the one where it was like, am I getting my 2 exorcisms messed up now? The one where
one had blood and one didn't.
The one where the lead ran out and like stopped everything.
That was the first one.
That was the first one.
Second one. Second.
Was it? I'm
That was the
confused.
second.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Now, I was going to say something. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can now.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, not any spoilers or anything, but there was looked like a totem pole, right?
Yeah.
And that where the mudang was cutting down that totem pole, right?
Yep.
Well, that's actually called the changsen, and the changsen is actually a protector, and they're actually usually in the front of villages, and they actually ward off against evil spirits. So the fact that he cut that thing down, it was basically totally going against everything he was trying to do.
Right, which is interesting given some other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things that afterwards, when you go back and watch it, you're just like, what the, that's not, no, man, like, no. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are very interesting in this film. Like I say, from a Korean perspective, when you see it, and it's not what you think it is.
And one of the scenes that really, and this wasn't, I thought this was an intense scene, but it's kind of early on in the film before a lot of the intensity really happens. But there's that scene where Jong-gu confronts the stranger at his house, and they get into that kind of like he's just yelling at him and the guy's translating for him.
Oh yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That scene there was kind of mind blowing. Like, it just like the performances in this are just insane. Like, and the thing I love about it is, even though we're reading subtitles, you can get all that subtlety. You can just see, like, facially, like, what's going on.
I actually have a point to that, Wolfie. As I said, I was watching it out. I was watching out on my deck on my laptop.
Yeah.
And then when I came in and brought it into the house, I didn't turn subtitles on for like I would say maybe 5 minutes. And I didn't even like realize. I don't know what made me realize it.
Yeah.
But like I was watching intently without even realizing that like the subtitles weren't on.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how you can convey so much through basic like
reaction and emotion.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a pretty good idea.
Let's we haven't heard from him in a while, and I know we've been monopolizing things. So let's head over to Brian, and I'm curious to get your perspective on this, Brian, because I know you had talked about wanting to kind of show people new and different horror that they may not be familiar with. So
and that's something he does awesome. In even way back in the old just Facebook horror movie group, like I would always. Brian was probably outside of the festival thing, like the biggest unknowing contributor to shit that we covered on the show than anyone else, because I'd always, he'd put something up, I'd look it up, I'd be like, oh, have you seen this? And is this on our list?
So you look smart.
Yeah, right, exactly. I didn't give him credit till now. But, I came across this film.
I'm like Tim. To start with, I'm really used to some of the Asian I don't know. I suppose you'd call them tropes, where for instance, the bumbling stooge police officers in Korean films. If you watch any Thai horror films, I mean, I'll be damned if you don't watch a Thai horror film with a tranny in it.
Right.
And
right.
so,
There you go.
Right.
yeah. And so and so I'm used to the bumbling cops, and of course over there, that, as Tim mentioned, there's obviously there's a disconnect, there's a mistrust of authority figures and whatnot. I liked that combined with the seclusion of the setting, and the xenophobia, which was a real big part of that, is the whole outsider thing, which of course right now America is dealing. I mean, from our standpoint, that's a huge thing right now. The
For
whole
sure.
xenophobia sweeping the country right now, and I'm sure Tim would agree that it's a big thing over there too. The others, the people that don't fit in.
It's a huge thing, and
We're losing you again, Tim.
Oh, homogenous country.
There we go.
That everything really, I mean, even the fact that with Confucianism, everybody just follows what they're told to do. I mean, they just follow traditions in line. I mean, it's just that whole lockstep tradition that's gone on for years and years and years. And anything that basically steps out of line, or anything that the black steps out of
Apparently, they don't have very good internet in Korea.
No, you go to Romania, brother.
Yeah, you gotta move to Romania. They got good internet.
Yeah, and the one thing that we don't see here, and because most horror fans and even action film fans are noticing that the amount of Asian stuff we're getting is dropping off considerably in America. There is still stuff coming out, and this film, the film just came out recently, probably will not hit our shores anytime soon. As a matter of fact, the director told me that she doesn't think there's any plans for anyone to pick it up. It's a film called The Bride, regarding the Taiwanese custom of marrying people to dead bodies, dead relatives, and so, like that, this here we have, something that's introducing Muism to Americans. No one has any idea what the mudang is. No one has any idea these rituals. We've never seen. As a matter of fact, I've never seen a Korean film where this type of folk magic and whatnot is used.
Right.
And I love the fact that they had this Korean belief system being pitted against the Japanese Shintoism, which I believe that's exactly what Kunimura was involved in himself. Mm-hmm. We get to see that scene during the exorcism where we see the Shinto. Right. Yeah, and so I found that fascinating. It's something that we don't really get to see out here very often, and the movie is long. I mean, especially if you're looking to get in, get out, and you want a 92, 93-minute movie. This is a real ass number. But me, I watch. Yeah, I have no problem sitting down and watching a 3.5-hour Bollywood film.
Yeah, exactly.
And those are mind-numbing and ass-numbing. So, but I enjoyed this, and it kept me on my toes. The one thing that I found is that as the tension starts to build, the bumbling cops sort of trip their way in and sort of relieve some of that tension. They pull some of the steam off the top. Not so much that it ruins it, but it just brings it back down just a little bit. And, then we wait, it goes up a little bit. They come bumbling in, kicks it down just a little bit. But you can see something is coming, and the film kept me on my toes. I did my best not to watch trailers, and so I was sort of, I had no idea what the movie was. Like, what are we going for here?
Yeah,
there's disease, there's possession. What is this? And for a short period of time, I had it pegged as a zombie film, and it just goes in so many different directions. I don't want to give anything too much away, but I loved it. As a matter of fact, I think Welgo USA picked it up. I think.
Yeah, I believe they did.
Yeah, so that will be one that I will. I'll definitely be grabbing that one. Absolutely. I think that it's probably not going to play well with the average horror fan.
Right.
No.
I mean, and not everything has to, of course, but I think in this case, the folk religions and the bumbling cops and the xenophobia and the seclusion, the claustrophobic setting, which I thought was beautiful, by the way. It was the locations are just killer. I think all of that together, I think the average horror fan is probably going to sit down and say, like, what the fuck? But I would encourage them to check it out anyhow, because the payoff is just sick.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we could hear you right now.
Okay, like one of the things that I was going to say that I concur with what Brian is saying is that one of the reasons that makes this film all the more horrifying in Korea is that, like, 2 years ago, there was a ferry disaster in Korea, in the Sewol. It was these kids were actually on a field trip, and the ferry sank, and there was over 30 kids were killed, and they're all basically told to stay on the ferry while it sank. They were told that they were going to be rescued, but it all was a big cock up, and these 3 kids died. Anyway, the parents, they felt like they turned to all the authorities and said, "Well, why didn't you stop this? Why couldn't you have done something? Why did you do anything?" Can you hear me?
Yeah.
And so, and the parents, they actually protested out in front of, the government buildings. Like thousands and thousands and thousands of people were demanding that the authorities, give answers to why they were so ineffectual and why they didn't do anything. And everyone just sat back and watched their children die and drown in the sea. And there was nothing anyone could do. It just happened. And yet everyone was scrambling for answers, and everyone was trying to avoid responsibility. And the government was saying we did everything we could when they didn't do a lot. So no, it's sort of an analogy to that.
We're losing you again there, Tim. Still cutting out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think it just keeps going in cycles. It's like every minute.
Okay. So this film, in a way, is an analogy to that ferry disaster about people losing their kids and having no control over being able to save them or do anything.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You would really feel that here, but outside of the country, you really wouldn't feel that,
Absolutely, and that's some of the great perspective that that we don't have about watching this. Were you going to say something, Brian?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say, and Tim knows as well that I think it's really, I think it pervades all of Asian, all the Asian films I see. There seems to be a real basic mistrust of the salaryman version of the cop below the lowest totem pole, the schlub.
Right. Right.
And not just that, but I mean, if you watch any Hong Kong horror or Hong Kong action, crime films from China, Japanese crime, you'll notice that authority, especially police authority, is just about always looked down upon in some way, unless you're higher up, unless you busted your ass to become a detective. Suddenly there's a little bit more respect shown to you in these movies. It's always the guy in the bottom, the brutal dumbasses, the guys who beat people to get answers, and the guys who just sort of stumble into crime scenes. It's a very Asian thing. Very Asian thing.
Right. And not any spoilers, but in the beginning of this film, it's like everybody's in Jungkook shit, and they're saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He's smoking cigarettes, and he's just kind of bumbling around because it's somebody else's families that are being killed and somebody else's families that are suffering, and he just appears to be standing by the wayside. But then all of a sudden, it turns around on his family. And then now he can't do a goddamn thing about it either. So now it's not just horrifying being a standard standby. It's horrifying because it's become personal.
Right, and then for him to actually flip flop and sort of join that xenophobic populism, that sort of that the group says the stranger is the bad guy, so what are you going to do about it? Well, I'm going to go ahead and set aside the law and join you, because it's got to be the bad guy. It's got to be the alien. It's got to be the it's got to be the stranger.
Right. Yeah.
This film is, and we're starting to get into it a little bit, and that it's very multi-layered, and we haven't even scratched the surface of this because, there's certainly religious undertones going on as well. Even if you want to, if you don't want to get too deep into the religion, just faith, alone. There's a lot of that going on, and I really am trying to tiptoe around some of the stuff that happens toward the end because you need to go in completely cold with this one. You don't want to know anything going in because, God damn, it's a fucking roller coaster ride for the last hour or so.
Right. Even with Christianity. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
I was just going to say real quick, the quick interjection of Christianity into the film. I found that I found that really telling because they're sort of impotent. The head priest just sort of says, "Well, there's really nothing we can do.
Yeah,
sorry.
Right.
Oh well. I would have to imagine that that's pretty prevalent out there.
There's also something about not to give spoilers. There's something about denial.
Yeah,
because there's in the Bible there's something about Jesus being denied 3 times, right?
Right.
And so I thought that was kind of interesting as well. Just little things that they incorporated into this film. But all in all, man, I like that it was cerebral, that it just wasn't a basic, like Brian said, it could have wound up just being a straight up zombie film, and it wasn't. It just wound up beat up psychopath film. It wasn't. It was actually its own kind of beast. I mean, it came off really fresh and original, I thought.
No, I totally agree, and so for me, it came off that way. But and talking to you guys, it sounds like there's a lot of stuff in this that doesn't really happen very often in Korean films, because I wasn't sure about the exorcism and some of the other stuff that's going on. I thought they were so unique and so cool, and the way they played out was incredible. And
right. And for Deja Vu, did you guys get the same feeling I did during the whole exorcism scene, that it just took me right back to Boxer's Omen?
Oh, you know what? I didn't think that, but now that you mention it, I could kind of see that.
I have to be like a case of some sort of alcohol in to bring back to Boxer's Omen. That movie's that movie's my favorite fever dream.
Yeah.
No, just putting on the chicken head, that animal stuff and everything.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, this is totally like Boxer's Omen. Yeah.
And that's another thing that probably people will balk at too. Because nowadays you can't even mention that a film will even show a dog getting killed, even if it isn't getting killed. If you say,
right,
the guy just cut a black dog's throat to cast a spell, and they're like, what? They killed a dog? I'm not watching that.
Right.
There's this new sensibility now in horror where you can kill a child and everyone's okay with it if you kill a dog.
Yeah. Well, I think part of that is that last year, coming into this year, I would say we didn't go a single week without a cheap heat animal death.
Yeah.
So I think that part of that sensibility is that, I'm the big animal lover.
It's much more prevalent.
Yeah. I think I'm just kind of sick of it more than the...
I think they're doing that. I think you know what, you're right. I think they do that probably. They probably figure, with the way society is sort of heading here in America, I think they sort of feel like, well, it's preferable to kill an animal on screen. Of course, not real, but it's preferable to kill one on screen than to kill a child with the way these these gun massacres are going.
Yeah, yeah.
If there's no point to it, then I totally can't handle it. But I mean, in this film, there's a scene where it's a representation of the other character who's standing there not doing anything.
Right. And it's part of the...
There's a purpose behind it. There's no shock. It's
Right.
not for shock value. There's a legitimate reason.
No, not at all. Right.
Right.
No. I think, and I won't say anything more about it than I have to, but I think the most important part of this film in how you couldn't make this same movie here is how cynical it is, in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's like a...
Yeah.
You seldom get to the end of the movie, and I felt like, my surprise was overtaken by my... Well, that's kind of an ugly message.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Yeah.
And again, that goes back to what I was saying about the Korean attitude, towards the government, and just the social attitude recently is that people are very, very cynical here because they've been just, kind of abandoned by the government here in a lot of ways with certain issues, or people feel like there's just, no hope in a lot of ways. And I think it was really reflected in the end of this film.
Yeah, absolutely. Were you going to say something as well, Brian?
I was going to agree. There's no way we would see this in a remake. And if we did, as I said, it would be a 93-minute. It would be slicked down. The xenophobia would probably be, softened.
And PG-13.
Yeah, well, and I wouldn't even say it's all about the rating. I think in general they would just tone down everything. We don't want to go ahead and we don't want to insult police officers and make them look like brutal morons. We don't want to offend Christians. We don't want to offend Muslims. We don't want to, so like a lot of because if you were to port that over to America, it would be, it would be Muslims, it would be Christians. Who knows what you would, probably Satanism. They would probably swap out the religions, and it would be Christianity versus Satanism, as usual.
Or they'd have it like Brujeria, and it would be like a Mexican guy coming over. It's just like, what's that Mexican guy living in our neighborhood for?
Right, like narco religion, or something like that.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Which now that we're saying out loud sounds pretty awesome. Can we write this?
It does.
Yeah, like I actually want to make this movie.
Kind of somebody remake this shit.
Yeah,
let's get out ahead of that.
Yeah, but I feel like the other thing that they just you couldn't even do it because who do you make your outsider? You know what I mean? Like, it's certainly not going to be Japan or China because the American film studios are petrified of not being able to get their Japan and China money. So, it's...
Well,
Mexicans.
I think it's a case of kind of like, do you guys remember that Who Could Kill the Child?
Yeah.
And then a couple of years ago, they went and they just remade the film almost verbatim.
Right.
And there's no way you can remake something like that and try to do it differently. It's just, if you're going to remake it, you basically got to just remake the original film, And this is one of those cases where I think even if you tried to do this in a different location or in a different way, it would just be, too different. It's just, this is a really specific, locale specific film. It's just, I don't know. It would just be really hard to remake in a different place.
Yeah, and I hope. I mean, for me, I hope it never gets remade. I don't know how we got talking about remakes, but I hope it doesn't happen because
it was just from the takeaway of this film. Like on the Elm Street Kids a couple of weeks ago, I was complaining about the pretentious, forced nihilism of the end of The Mist. This sort of politics is never going to be in vogue like that. Like this sort of thing isn't ever the type of thing, and the elements of the outcome will never play anyway.
Asian cinema as well. There's Asian cinema always plays differently as well. There's no real happy, tidy endings. It's not always. Let's just go ahead and brush our hands off and, sprinkle a little holy water, bury somebody's body, discover their past. In America, it's always like this. Even outside of remakes, you're going to get all sorts of horror films where it's just, they need some type of upbeat.
Yeah, I really wouldn't worry about it. I mean, the Asian remake market has kind of dried out over the past several years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't really worry about it.
The fact of the matter is, too, is that, you get these situations in the West where everybody's like, oh, that film's great. But, I still have to read. Oh, shit, so we got to remake it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to read, so that's what it all boils down. It's the only reason they remake anything, and it's just.
Right. It is, and I get why some people don't like to read shit, and I don't really fault them for it anymore. When I was younger, I would be like, you dummy, but now it's more like, who fucking cares? If you don't want to read it, you don't have to read it. Like eventually, nowadays online you can pretty much get anything. You can get audio tracks, subtitle tracks, whatever you need to get. So, but I think they would be missing out, and if you're looking for new horror. You're missing out big on this one. This is probably the biggest one outside of The Bride that I have seen come out of Asia, and I haven't seen The Ring versus The Grudge yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and reserve my best of from Asia until I see that. But until then, The Wailing it's pretty damn good coming from Asia.
But did you see them play baseball? That was weird, right?
That was awesome.
They do more. I've seen them do ridiculous little mini dance concerts.
Oh,
man. Because out there they often unveil pop groups, J-pop groups, and they'll have these little, the little girls come out in public and dance for everyone, and all the creepy dudes stand outside cheering for them, and so I thought that was kind of clever. But yeah, that. I don't know. We'll probably never see that here on DVD or Blu-ray. I really don't see that happening anytime soon.
The one thing I do want to bring up, so, obviously we've mentioned, this isn't really given a ton away, but we mentioned there was an exorcism scene. And I think, this may be a bold statement, but I think this film here, when talking about exorcism scenes, this may be one of the most memorable ones ever. And I think this challenges The Exorcist in terms of that scene and also just the film in general.
I don't know how much it had to do with the actual ritual and how much it had to do with that girl is a fucking one of the best child actors that I've seen in the past 25 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was incredible. It's I think her name was Kim Hwan-hee. Mm-hmm. She was the one who played the daughter, and yeah, she was unbelievable in this. And there's so much range, and especially in that exorcism scene, it's crazy. And all the performances of this are phenomenal. And this, I guess I'll just lay it on the table that I fucking loved this movie so much, and there's just so many memorable scenes and so many amazing things that make this a complete film. I just was absolutely blown away at times.
You want to talk about the performances in this movie are absolutely fantastic. There's no question about that. Especially, and the girl, what was her name again?
Kim Hwan-hee.
Yes, she was absolutely amazing. But there's another film out there, another Korean film out there called Phone, and there's an actress. I think her name was Woo Jae Choi.
Amazing little girl.
And she put in one of the best performances I have ever seen, ever, from a kid, from a child. It's absolutely breathtaking, and I was just floored with her performance. It's a movie called Phone. It came out around 2002, 2003.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great fucking flick. This movie hit all the right beats. I don't feel a frame of this movie was wasted. Everything just looked beautiful. The landscapes are gorgeous. The lighting is beautiful. The soundtrack is awesome.
Oh, it's amazing, yeah.
When the shit really starts hitting the fan, it really hits the fan, and the soundtrack just beefs that up. It's just incredible. As far as the exorcism scenes, I will say that I will agree with you, Wolfie, that they do rival The Exorcist, but also in sheer insanity as well.
Oh yeah,
because I had my TV. I had to turn my TV down pretty low because it was getting pretty fucking loud.
I did a couple of times too, actually.
Yeah.
that's got some fucking volume to it, man, and it almost made you feel like you were actually there.
Well, I was listening in headphones.
Oh God!
So like it was like intense.
Jesus, and so I mean, you got the bells, the drums, the fire, the dancing, the singing, and on top of that, you got the girl screaming her goddamn head off.
Well, there was that ending too. Like, there's that scene when he's the mudang's actually driving nails into the totem.
Yeah,
right.
And every time he was driving a nail, and you hear her scream, and he's driving a nail, and you hear her scream, and it was just like, holy shit.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I think that I think if I have another complaint about this movie is that I talked about how it didn't have a lot of broad humor, but like in reflection, I feel like some of it, I wonder if maybe just the overall bleakness of the piece, some of it just didn't work for me. I'm thinking particularly about the scene with the scene that plays more like a zombie movie than than the type of movie that this is, where the posse is kind of out in the woods and they're dealing with the one guy and the shovel to the face and stuff. Like,
that could remind me of Close Encounter of Spook Hunter or something like that. It kind of reminded me of the old school, like Mr. Fire. It's a little bit of goofiness to it.
Right, but I didn't know if I was supposed. You know what I mean? I wasn't positive. Like, I feel like the overall mood almost betrayed that scene because I felt like I didn't know if I should be getting that. You know what I mean? Like, not even just if I should laugh. Like, I felt like I wasn't sure what was happening. You know, like in retrospect, I'm thinking of the things individually, and it's pretty funny. But in the element of the film, you know, and what they're doing, like, it sort of only works as the blackest of black comedy in a way. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of Korean filmmakers have this real kind of specific skill at being able to shift gears in the blink of an eye so quickly. And sometimes, you know, and a lot of times it really, really works, where you can take a film that's incredibly bleak and all of a sudden for, you know, like a 2-minute section, you're laughing. And then you're like, well, what am I? Oh my God, I shouldn't be laughing. This is a really heavy film, and then they're able to pull you right back into the gist of the film again. And I think, you know, like there's so many Korean films that run the gamut of emotions like that I've seen. You know, like Memories of Murder. You know, like Save the Green Planet. There's so many examples I can think of where, you know, you'll be right in the midst of some heavy shit, and then all of a sudden, for like, it's kind of almost like, you know, with Bollywood, where everybody senses a little murder scene, right? And then you're right back into the murder scene. It's just kind of like, you know, the Koreans have a way of just shifting emotions that I think, you know, is really not done anywhere else around the world that I really know of.
Yeah, in the films that I've seen, I gotta agree. Like, the range is very impressive, and I think that's one of the things. I did make an offhanded joke earlier. With Mars, we were in a group conversation. I said that I only want to watch Korean films from now on, and you know, I know it's you know, I was just, you know, it was definitely a hint of sarcasm, but the thing about it is that there's so much range. Like, in, you know, we reviewed The Foul King and you know, and obviously this flick and I Saw the Devil, and just a lot of these flicks are just. It's unbelievable, the range of emotion that on display, and you don't see that in too many other films from other countries.
No, you don't. It's
really impressive, and I just want to make one more point about that Exorcist thing. And I remember watching, you know, there's a like a YouTube video about the crowd reaction after seeing The Exorcist live. Like,
yeah.
I know you've seen it.
Yep.
It's crazy. People are fainting. People are vomiting. People are like going nuts. And obviously, I don't know that can happen anymore in this day and age. I think we're so desensitized by horror, and we have so much available to us. But I can almost imagine people coming out of this flick in the theater in a similar way to what I saw how people reacted to The Exorcist.
I feel like you just gotta find the thing, but I agree with you. Yeah. Like remember when we saw, like, we had saw it ahead of time, but remember when we saw Blair Witch the first time, like, in a theater?
Yep.
Like, people were not okay.
Yeah.
You know, and it was the exact opposite of The Exorcist, in the sense where they showed nothing. You know what I mean? And that's what
Right.
made people uncomfortable.
Yep.
Like, but like I do agree with you, especially if you're somebody who understands the cultural significance to some of the symbolism and stuff like that. Like, I think that, like, I mean, even for me, who is at every table except this one, the most ignorant of the ignorant, as far as our international brothers go. But, like, I feel like, it definitely struck me hard. And, like, I feel like I wasn't 100% sure, like, the ritual of itself meant nothing to me.
Right.
Like, so it was just like the presentation of it entirely.
And there was in the chat, Jakey Poo's hanging out in the chat room, by the way, and he said he wanted to tune in because he loves this movie. So, but he does bring up the zombie scene in finger quotes, and that scene was great. And I think you mentioned this earlier, Mars, is that I think the makeup was really impressive.
Was awesome.
And that's such a cool mix of horror and comedy in that. And it's almost like accidental comedy in a way, like, because those guys are just so, like, such a bunch of fuck ups, That scene is just so classic and so good. And
when he breaks a shovel in half and he just swacks him with it in the face, and it's just like, oh shit.
The makeup reminded me of so many of my favorite things in, like, those, like, quasi, possession, that weird possession zombie subgenre, like,
It reminded me more of Gates of Hell, like Fulci.
Yeah, no, I won't disagree with that. It reminded me the like the brow and eye makeup, like, element reminded me a little bit of Night of the Demons, like, just how like piercing the eyes were and stuff like that. But the like the gook on the face, like, especially in the quote unquote zombie scene, and you couldn't totally get a different quality in every way. So I'm not making that implication, but it reminded me of Plague of Zombie Mutant Zone a little bit, like the way like the makeup was kind of like caked on and stuff like that, and how slapsticky it was in that scene. Like, I don't have a single complaint about this movie, and it's weird. Like, other than even my complaint about the length isn't necessarily like I didn't enjoy myself. I just think that there's a more palatable version of this film.
Out of context, that was a very funny.
What?
You didn't enjoy the length.
I don't know. I don't mind a big dick now and again.
And we might even see a cut too. I mean, we might see when Welgo brings it here, there may be a director's cut. We may end up with something shorter.
Sure.
And I wouldn't necessarily. I think this film is near perfect, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing if it gets it in front of more audiences, or if.
No.
Because when people look and see a flick is 2 hours 36 minutes, they might be like, okay, well, that's not for me.
We live in a world now where, like, that, like, just cutting it almost guarantees that you have an easy special feature marketing device on your home video version of it, whether it's digital media or not. Like, even the even the biggest companies in the world are doing that.
Yeah, but if the story is good enough and it can if it could drag you in and keep you mesmerized of what you're seeing in front of the screen,
right?
2 hours should be a cakewalk.
But this was 2 hours and 38 minutes.
2.5 hours is not a problem.
No.
You got through 2 hours. What's another half an hour? I never felt.
I understand it myself when they say, somebody says, well, here's something great, and now we give you less great.
Right. Yeah. No, that was always my retort to. My backhanded retort to people who would complain about how long our show was, like we'll work on giving you less.
We are the Korean
yes
podcast.
I never found any problem with the 2.5 hour plus running time on this.
To be devil's advocates, though,
it never felt like 2.5 hours to me because I was just in the zone in this flick.
To be devil's advocate, though, we are how many? There's 5 people here, 4 people here, 5, 6. We are 6 film critics to some regard or degree, right? So it's kind of our job to sit around and watch movies, right? Like normal people have shit to do. like I hate to put it like so bluntly or whatever else, but like
but we're not normal people,
right? But I'm saying that the marketability of this movie, what ends up happening is if you're somebody who may enjoy this movie under perfect circumstances, and you sit down and you're about to pick your movie, I do it. I swear to God, I'm not even lying. I do it every other day. It's 2 a.m. I have 2 hours left in me, and I look, and if a movie is 2.5 hours long, like I can't watch that movie
you
right
skip
now.
it. Yeah,
yeah, I can't watch it right now. Like, and I'm someone who like loves movies.
But if you get something on VOD or you rent something that they give you a time limit to watch, to me, you have the thing where you can still see half on. I mean, like, there's no need to really edit down anything. You know, you can. You know, there's been a lot of films I've seen, like Hard to Be a God. That was a 3.5-hour Russian film. I had to watch half one night and half the next day. So
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's just know, there's long films. I was going to say
CDR of Cult of Muscle pimped that to me. I'm very excited for it.
You guys reviewed I Saw the Devil. Well, compare the time length of that to this. It's almost the same.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
And you don't feel like you're actually sitting through, like, slogging through that film.
No.
Right.
It just rolls. And I felt the same way with this film, is that it just rolled right through. There wasn't any part of this film where I'm like, come on already. Like,
Yeah.
There's,
like I said, there's not a frame of this film that's wasted.
I don't think it was a single scene, though. I think the
rare
problem is not that it's a single scene. I think that the film ratchets up the tension in a particular way, right? Like, can we all agree with that?
Agreed.
So at the end, at like a certain point, as a viewer, I feel like you just become marginally immune to it. Like I feel like there's only so long that you can be tense before it's just not working the same anymore. You know what I mean? It's not like it's actually happening to you.
Maybe you didn't question earlier when you were talking about the zombie scene, because you were saying, it's kind of comedy.
Right.
Maybe they just ratcheted it up to a point where they realized, oh fuck, like we can't go any further right now. So hey, let's look at this, right? And then they just kind of made you step back for a bit and catch your breath and have a chuckle or two.
Yeah.
And then they go back into it, right?
But I think overall there is so even if you take that film out itself, like, they were going out to the woods to kill somebody. You know what I mean? So, like, there's an ugliness to this film that I feel like some of my favorite films are super long, and some of my favorite films are fucking reprehensible. Like, if like, my favorite movie, I think it came out last year, but my favorite movie so far that I've seen this year was Miike's Lesson of Evil. And I think that's over 2 hours long. And and it is fucking reprehensible. Like, the last 20 minutes of that movie, like, is all the things that people who complained about Battle Royale but never saw it, like, were afraid of. It is fucking almost almost need to look away, like, depraved in the worst way too, right? In the most subversive way, not in like a put it on the screen Cannibal Holocaust way necessarily, in like a very deep rooted, ugly, satirical, political way. And like I'm not like not to imply that I am necessarily soft, though my brother from another mother, Jakey Poo, is probably saying as much somewhere in the chat room. I think that there is like a combination of ugly and tension with this movie that I think it would just play better, like as a little bit shorter film. Like, again, if you gave me, the free reign to cut out whatever I wanted, I assure you, I would be able to justify every single thing that's in this movie and come out the other end being like, I don't know, like, and maybe not cut like a single thing.
Well, Jakey Poo says you are wrong, Dinah. Wrong, Dinah. No, he called you Dinah. No,
Jakey, I love you so much.
That's kind of like what you were talking about, Mars, is kind of like when they tried to basically get the certificate for Texas Chainsaw Island, and then they went back to the BBFC, the film commission, and said, "Well, what do we cut out?" And they said, "You can't cut out anything. It's just it's all bad. It's just the intent. It's the whole mood of the film. There's nothing in the film." But in particular, you can take out of this film. It's just a mean film.
Yeah,
like that's just what it is.
Yeah, and there's like I don't know, like I again like it is just my my overall thinking. But again, in not trying to save face with my buddy here, I feel like I don't know what you would cut out, but my instinct says that it plays a little not, and I'm not even saying 90 minutes.
Well, I don't want to harp on that. We have to wrap this up, so I want to try to get some last comments before we go to the verdict. But the one thing that I did want to mention was just like we're watching the Exorcist scene, by the way, right now in studio. I also got to admit, I don't think Raven Shadow fucking watched this thing. He's walked out 3 times now.
No, I think he was talking about it some.
Was he really talking about it?
I thought he was. Like I think
he rehashed what we said basically.
I don't know. I think he. I don't know if he watched. Like, I don't know.
All I heard was somebody get banged in the back of a car.
Yeah, that's all he cares about.
Yeah, I don't know if he watched it enough to like it's certainly not his. I don't know what is his bag anymore. That said, but like
yeah.
But,
and one kind of final point that I want to make is this film is just so complex and layered, and just when you start to hate a character, you all of a sudden start feeling sympathetic for them.
Kinda.
No, you know what?
Even just slightly.
No, I felt sympathy for him.
Well, I was going to keep it vague, but okay.
Okay. Well, all right, since the cat's out of the bag.
No, just keep it vague still.
All right, then the hell with it, then.
All right. But that was one of the things that just when you think you kind of know where it's headed, and then it kind of like, I'm not going to say it's a twist, but it really kind of tugs on your heartstrings and your emotions a little bit. And I think that's it. It kind of creates this really unsettling feeling that I think really has you on edge. So when it gets to near the end, you're just so like, I don't know, you're so flustered and you don't know what to think, that it has even more impact than
plus
than it
we're
would.
conditioned that this guy gets some redemption, right? Like the dude who in the first 5 minutes of the movie in a Western film that steps in a bucket ends up with the girl at the end and everything's okay and everybody's family is all right. Like that's like people make bad choices here through the entirety of this film's running time, and it doesn't stop until the movie does.
Right.
So like that's very frustrating to try to get some sympathy, for even when you have that twinge like you see, and there's the revelation that nope, still an idiot. Like it's very I don't know, it's very brave. I think that's like there is a mood and an attitude with this film that is in so many ways I feel almost unrecreatable in another film or any other medium, in the way that you like. I feel like this film does something subversively that more exploitive films try really hard to do. Like I like, you talk about Serbian film and all these other outlandish films that were supposed to make you feel a certain way. Like, I really felt fucking awful when the opening credit, like, rolled. Like, I didn't, like, you know what I mean? Like, it took me until the morning to, like, have that, like, that glow that I get when I've seen some great cinema.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like, I went another while. I flipped around trying to find a palate cleanser. I thumbed through some funny books, like, but, like, I just felt fucking awful when this movie was over. Like my one word, if somebody asked me for a response, it's like if somebody had a microphone up to me and asked for a response right when it hit black, I would have said I would have said ...
dot.
I would have said oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
this is an emotionally and exhausting
Absolutely.
roller coaster of a film.
because it doesn't at all pander to your expectations. It doesn't at all go out of its way to make someone like when people are likable. It's almost in that classic Hitchcockian way where even though Norman Bates is doing something reprehensible by pushing the car into the lake, and then the car doesn't sink, like your heart sinks for a minute for Norman because he's fucked, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, even though on every level he's doing something fucking terrible. You know, people aren't ever reaching that level of bad guyness in this, but they certainly are not like they're not heroic, and there's very little nobility in this film. I feel there's something to be said, and it might be lost on me because I'm nobody's father that I know about, there is a bit of nobility in the sense where someone is like willing to go to the mat for their child. But the acting is so good in this that I feel like as soon as the lead does, he fucking doubts his decision, or he falters right before he really does. You know what I mean? Like, or he waits almost too long every time because he's afraid, or there's a degree of self-preservation. And I feel like, I don't know, like this, the acting in this is just, especially from the father-daughter combo, is just fucking off the charts, in my opinion.
Yeah. So before we head to a verdict and let everyone know exactly what we felt, does anyone else have any other points to bring up? Something that that you want to discuss before we head to that? I think we've kind of done a pretty good job of discussing this, but Raven Shadow, you are really bored.
Guys, listen, I'm bored as fuck, guys. Here's the thing, though.
You left 3 times during the review.
Yeah, here's the thing.
I tried to get a video of you fucking around on your phone.
Here's the thing. I'm so glad that you guys feel this way. Like, I'm glad.
No, you're not.
No. I'm for each of you on a personal level. Tim, Brian, I'm glad. And Jakey Boo in the break room. We're not break room. Where are you?
What the fuck?
I'm thinking about work. I'm thinking about spreadsheets right now. Like, I'm so excited about a policy procedure.
You can't even pull your head out of your job to enjoy a movie?
No, because I'm like, that fucking spreadsheet's awesome. That's a fucking cool program that I have someone else do. But no, listen, I'm really glad that you guys have this feeling for this film, and obviously you're passionate about it, and I'm legit about that. I just didn't get it, and it was a disservice. You know, my time for viewing flicks is really around the 9 o'clock hour, so it was going into it late.
Late for you is 3 a.m.
Well, yeah, then I watch other films. But I mean, I did go down a rabbit hole because Joey Tron. I was watching some Pantera videos. That was pretty cool, which led to some Motorhead videos. You know, so listen, I'm very happy for all of you.
Just tell us what you fucking think.
Is it the verdict part?
No, not yet.
Oh, well, you know what the fucking you got. It's fucking 1, 2, 5 treats and a trick. All right, can we get a dick joke up in this motherfucker? I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry, brother.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Let's go to the fucking verdict.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, verdict time. We're going to let you know whether this flick was a trick or a treat, and any final thoughts we may have. Raven Shadow, why don't you continue?
Fair, Johnny. You know, I agree with what everyone said.
Shut up.
I echo the sentiments.
Did you finish it? That's what I want to know.
Oh, I finished.
No,
I did.
You watched all 2 hours and 36 minutes.
Yeah. Like I said, throwing like Walk, Drag the Waters, and an Unbroken Video in there. But no, it wasn't for me. I'm really it's the Korean movie for you. You know, I like that. You know, it started off good. Real Korean people doing real Korean things.
Oh my god,
that was nice.
Did I just hear him say that?
They were doing real things. They were having breakfast. You know, that was exciting.
Oh my fuck. Jakey Poo says cleaning up your frozen burrito mess in the microwave in the break room. And first time Michael says Raven Shadow ate my lunch with my name on it.
Hey, don't bring fish on Thursdays either. Come on, don't be that guy. So listen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to Korea. I'm sorry, gang.
You're banned, man. You're banned.
I can't go. God damn it.
You could go to North Korea.
Yeah, you're going to North Korea.
Yeah, you're going to North Korea.
Yeah, I'll fucking blend. No, listen. It was very fucking beautiful. It was very beautiful. And it was a trick. It was a trick for your boy. Sorry.
I can just see it now, man. Raven Shadow's gonna be right at the airport, and it's just like, you want to visit Korea? Yes, I thought I'd come here to see real Korean people do real Korean things.
We'll send you to North Korea. They'll strap you to a missile like in Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah, and send you back here. All right, MZ.
Oh man, you know what? You know my affirmation for Oldboy, right?
Ooh. Oh yes.
Well, yeah. This is number 2 as far as Korean films go.
Wow.
This was an absolutely fantastic flick. I couldn't take my eyes off it. Everything about this movie hit all the right marks. The timing, the 2.5 hour plus film. Who cares? I mean, it sure as hell didn't feel like one to me. I thought everything clicked in this movie correctly, and it just kept you guessing, and the intensity that gets ramped up, and the suspense that gets ramped up in this film as it continues, especially in that third act, is unlike anything that you ever really get to see.
Mars can't stop laughing.
Somebody push him down a flight of stairs. This movie is rarely, if ever, scant moments of boredom, and for a 2.5 hour plus film like that, that's a hell of an achievement. I am almost honored to say that I got a chance to see this film, and this is an absolute treat.
Jakey Poo says that international incident. The first time Michael says thank you, people of Korea.
No, great.
Jesus. We'll let Dynamo collect his bearings, and let's go to Brian. What would be your final verdict of this, Brian?
Must have, must see, must own. By far the best that's come out of Asia this year. Absolutely, it's something that if you're a festival follower, you've got to see it. If you're an Asian horror follower, you got to see it. It's just, if you don't like subs and you don't like sitting, then you probably will not want to see it.
So the Michael Raven Shadows.
That was a treat.
Awesome, very cool. How about you, Tim?
Well, I'd say that this is a film that's really a blender drink.
Yeah.
That just hits you in so many different ways, and I think that it actually has to be seen a number of times to really absorb everything that's going on here, not just in the plot, but also just like the sensory, the soundtrack, all of it. I think. Yeah. This was my third time seeing it, and I loved it even more with continual screenings of this. I really loved this film. It was just unbelievable. But like I say, for the first time, even for Korean audiences, I got to see this with the Korean audience the second time, and people walked out and were puzzled, because it wasn't like they got all the points that were meant to get. It was still, you could still see people walking out just like they just didn't know what to make of it,
Yeah.
And I think it's something that people will go back to. But those are the films that count, the films that make you walk away with more emotions than you came in with, man. I mean, it's almost like the film infects the viewer in the same way that the people in the film are infected themselves.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
So I gave this a treat.
All right, Marsman, you ready to give yours? No? Is that...
Treat.
Okay.
That's all he could get out
That's all you can muster?
Wow, even Raven Shadow gave more.
I'm saving it up.
Real Korean people doing real Korean.
All right, for me, this flick is a treat of the highest order. I fucking loved this movie. It's beautifully shot, written, scored, has incredible performances. I was so emotionally invested in this to a degree that I can't recall for many films. Like, I can't recall any in the last 3 years where I felt this emotionally invested in the film. And it's not only one of the best horror films I've seen in a while, I think it's also one of the best dramas and one of the best mysteries. This is almost like, when I guess I'm going to use a sportism because I can't think of a better analogy, but let's say like someone's really good at playing like multiple sports, like a
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson. The non-sports guy with
the fastball, big swing, Bo knows everything. Remember that?
Jesus Christ.
But this is the Bo Jackson of Korean films.
The Bojangles.
What's fucking happening?
I don't know.
It's like you got possessed by the Raven Shadow disease came into your village.
Oh, it's fucking airborne.
I just think it's so difficult to mix so many different genres and have so many layers and excel at all of them. I think this is a tour de force of filmmaking, and
Look at that shot.
And immediately
Christ.
after this film ended, I wanted to watch it again. And, if it weren't 2 a.m. or whatever when I finished it, I would have. But this is an amazing film, and I have a feeling it's going to show up on a lot of best of lists at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So everyone out there, when The Wailing is available for you to see it, you need to see it. And if it's playing at a theater near you, it's worth a drive. If it's not,
Pronto.
If it's not within like 15, 20 minutes, it's worth a drive for. And this flick is I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. And I think a lot of people are going to be talking about this flick for a long time. So that is going to wrap up our very long coverage. I think we talked about that film for almost 90 minutes, which is... not that surprising given the film.
I don't even, and I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface. Like I feel like we didn't even talk about it.
I would love to have a spoiler discussion about this film because there's so many things I do want to discuss, but obviously the film's not even available on VOD yet, so I don't want to do that.
My rib popped again. I'm so upset right now. Fuck you, Michael Ravenshaw. Know what, Michael Ravenshaw, you're going to learn to do? I didn't do it with this particular movie because, that was a long time. But you got to bring your laptop. You bring it into the bathroom. You run a nice bath.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
Turn out all the lights. Get a nice thing of rum is what I would do.
Okay.
Right?
So
and you sit and watch it in the tub. You have a nice tub and watch the movie for this week's Trick or Treat Radio.
Oh, shit, that'd be nice.
It's very relaxing.
Some candles?
Yeah, no candles. You don't need candles. It's fire.
You'll burn the house.
No.
You'll burn the fucking house down.
But that's what you gotta do. You'll appreciate the movies a lot more.
What do I put the laptop on?
I usually put it.
Tub.
I put it on the toilet. It's set up perfectly.
And if somebody knocked it into the tub, I don't think we'd be all that mad.
Who, me or him?
No, him.
Oh.
Are you kidding? I was trying to fucking think of ways to pull it into the tub and make it look like an accident. I didn't want to hurt
watching a movie.
I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings except mine.
All right. Well, we are gonna let's take a quick break in just a moment. Actually, next week we don't know what our movie's going to be, but next week is the Wednesday Night Wars.
Oh no!
Really,
ladies and gentlemen.
What a fucking I know we're gonna go down a quality hole. That's for sure.
Yeah, we need to pick a good one. So we will be doing.
We better watch I Love to Hurt People on one of these fucking shows.
We'll be teaming up with Outside the Cinema. We do it 4 times a year. We do the Wednesday Night Wars. We go on their show. They come on our show, and we review wrestling movies and talk. Oh, maybe we can find that Jushin Thunder Liger one. No, we have it without subtitles.
Yeah, me and El Goro have been looking for a long time too.
I think I have it without subtitles.
Yeah, no, I've watched it a couple times. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
So we're not quite sure what we'll review next week, but as soon as we find out, we'll let you guys know. But we will be the Wednesday Night Wars. So it should be a good time for sure. So we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back, and then we're going to talk to Tim and also Brian to find out some more about what they've been up to and what kind of stuff they're working on. So we'll be back. We'll be back in just a couple seconds.
2 shakes
here.
of a lamb tail.
2 and 2.
There you go.
The following message is a paid advertisement for the Cult of Muscle podcast. The Cult of Muscle. You're either in it or you're dead.
It's the dawning of a new age. The halls of Valhalla have been shuttered. The heroes of yore have either retreated to the shadows or taken to capering for the amusement of the small folk. Their past glories a distant memory. The barbells have been torn from their once puma-strong grips. The beards shorn from their square jaws, only to be transplanted onto flannel-clad, puny weaklings with fingers barely powerful enough to strum a ukulele. The time has come, my brothers, to restore order from the chaos. No longer will our heroes be forgotten. No longer will their great deeds be viewed through a foggy lens of irony. Hear now our rallying cry as we scream it from the mountaintops, as we bellow it from iTunes and Libsyn and Facebook. It's time to join the cult, my brothers. So don your cloaks and enter the Cult of Muscle.
Hello, darlings. It's your favorite whiskey-drinking, litigious, singing, dancing fantasy girl. Want to reach out to me and the world's greatest monster-hunting multimedia organization, the Deadites? Log on to Facebook.com/The Deadites. It's got all the info you need to follow the world's greatest monster hunting band, like live appearances, info on your favorite Deadite, music, and all the links you need to our new weekly multimedia and all our side endeavors. Too many letters on Facebook? That's okay, sugar. Just follow us on Instagram and Twitter @The Deadites. Hope to see you soon, and we'll leave the lights off.
I'm Alex West. And I'm Andrea Subasati, and we're from the Faculty of Horror podcast.
And you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
You know I never meant to see you again, but I only passed by as a friend. All this time I stayed out of sight, started wondering why. Ooh, now I wish it would rain down on me. Ooh, yeah, I wish it would rain down on me now. Ooh, yes, I wish it would rain down on me. Ooh, yeah, I wish it would rain on me.
All right, we're back on Trick or Treat Radio.
Hey.
Hey.
I like that song.
I know you do. You helped write it. Well,
It's me and Phil.
me and Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a songwriting credit on that version.
Yeah. I was like, me and Phil. Why don't you come on over? We'll write. We'll bring it out a door that even Suso Studio couldn't do.
All right, so I want to catch up with these dudes. First of all, I want to hear from Brian because this is the first time that Brian's been on, and he has a super awesome magazine.
Might be the last.
Yeah, first and last.
I don't know if Brian had got a chance to listen before, but
But I do want to hear, Brian, why don't you go ahead, for anyone out there who's not familiar, if you could go ahead and let them know about Weng's Chop.
Weng's Chop is sort of wow. It's a combination of Rue Morgue and oh wow. I mean, It's hard to describe. Basically, it's a magazine that touches on pretty much everything: kung fu, porn, animation, anime, action films, martial arts, kung fu, that kind of stuff. Anything you can think of out of the ordinary, we cover it. So it's pretty crazy.
And also, the funny thing is, Tim didn't realize that you guys were going to be on the same time, which is interesting because I know Tim also does some writing for Weng's Chop as well. So, Tim, would you talk a little bit about some of your contributions and your experience with Weng's Chop?
Well, I've been writing for Weng's now for just a couple of years. So I loved everything that I've done. I mean, like the latest issue, I just did an interview with Robin Bougie, who actually puts out a magazine himself called Cinema Sewer. That's great little read. And he just put out a second book, a series called Graphic Thrills, which he had actually compiled a collection of softcore and hardcore XXX posters from the 60s, from the 70s and 80s.
Nice.
And it comes out, the book came out in Fab Press. It's a beautiful, beautiful book, both volumes 1 and volume 2. I did an interview with a guy actually that I ran into in Busan here a couple years ago, a guy named Churzu Lindstrom. Churzu is from Finland, and he did a movie called Night Satan and the Loops of Doom.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is a short film that's fantastic. And he's actually working right now on doing a full feature for Night Satan.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, the one thing that I love specifically about, writing for Weng's is just, I've said to Brian over and over and over, the international tip and crossing paths with directors and writers and people from all abroad, and just tuning people into, into the West, or people that might not be familiar with some things that are going on in Thailand or, Malaysia or whatever. I mean, when I hear about things being on this side of the rock, I basically try to, connect with whoever's involved in creating these things and try to say, well, look, man, I just want more people to know about what you're doing. We've got the means to do that through Weng's Chop, and that's what I love to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brian, where can people find Weng's Chop if they want to go ahead and purchase it?
Well, right now we go through Amazon.com, so you can pretty much, if you're familiar with CreateSpace.com, which is their publishing wing or their imprint, you can get it through CreateSpace, or you could just search for Weng's Chop on Amazon.com. You can also find our other magazine. We have a second magazine.
Yep.
It is Tim Paxton's Monster, which is bi-monthly now. We're up to issue 30. And you can search for Monster on Amazon as well. It's all available. I think we're available in India, Japan, Canada, pretty much anywhere where Amazon is. So,
and I think one thing about Weng's too, but I'd consider us a magazine. I consider us more of a tome, because when you start buying, I tell you right now, you got to get your ass down to IKEA and get yourself an industrial strength bookcase, because when we our issues, this is total bad reading when you're just dropping a cinder block. I mean, like, you're gonna be reading your issue for a good number of months before the next one comes out. Like, we're never ever gonna wind up giving you a shortage of anything to read, and it's incredible. Just the amount of content that Brian and Tim and everybody puts together in this. It's a labor of love. I mean, I was showing issues of Weng's, in Busan to people here during the film festival, and everyone was just basically like, "What the hell? Like, that's an incredible amount of content there."
Right.
Just this stuff, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, all I heard over, this isn't, this is fun. Like, you've put so much into it, and that's what I love.
Each issue we put out usually has anywhere from 230 to 250 pages. So
crazy.
Yeah, you buy one for $12. Sounds like a lot, but you're actually paying for like 3 times as less if you buy one of the mainstream magazines.
Yeah, no, it's 100% true. I was actually commenting on how I was impressed with the newest episode of Rue Morgue because I actually felt like I got my $9 worth. But then when you look at Wang Chop, like I feel like the price point of Rue Morgue isn't so attractive.
Yeah, and we do more than just films. I mean, there's we have reviews on comics, reviews on graphic novels, book reviews. A few issues ago, we actually had some music reviews. We try to touch on everything, and that was really the point of starting the magazine. Was that we wanted to sort of fill holes. Lots and lots of holes.
Ooh, hey now.
No, we did. It was sort of like when I as a matter of fact, it's funny that Rich mentioned about working with me because it wasn't too long after I stopped working with Danae and started doing my own podcast called Pieces that I had Tim Paxton on, and Tim Paxton's been doing movie zines since the 70s. I mean,
he's a granddaddy.
Yeah, he's old school, featured in newspapers and everything. Like he's part of that original first generation crowd of film zine people. And I talked to him. I had him on, talked to him on the show. Sort of picked his brain about everything that he'd done. And then after the show, I told him, "Look, dude, like you're amazing at this, and you've got that name, you've got Monster, you've got all this history. Let's do something." And I want to do things like Nigerian horror films, and there's so much oddity out there, so much fun stuff, midget porn, and all sorts of great like crazy. Yeah, and that's pretty much what Wang's does. But as Tim was saying, it also introduces people to new and exciting directors, independent stuff, and of course anyone that was looking for something a little out of the ordinary right now. Well, not now. It's pretty much dead in the water. But at one time, the whole craze was Grindhouse. Everybody was all about Grindhouse movies. Yep. And of course, it had really reached a saturation point, and I think it just sort of bottomed out. But what we do is we sort of introduce people to the exploitation stuff that you're really not going to hear about. The stuff from the Philippines, stuff from Thailand. Yeah, like crazy. I mean, we just had a huge article from Andrew Leibold, the director of Machete Maidens. He did Machete Maidens, right? Or was it Mark Hartley?
No, Hartley did Machete Maidens. Andrew did The Search for Weng Weng.
Weng Weng, right? Which is actually, we covered the Search for Weng Weng in the book. We had a huge production diary in the book on that movie. We try our best to sort of give everyone everything, including horror. And I think we've done a pretty damn good job. I think we've reached 15,000 magazines. We've sold 15,000 copies, which, we're not riding around on limousines or anything like that. But it's nice to know people are paying attention.
Right, and the great thing about the magazine too is that for people that are really steeped in genre cinema, you think, I've seen it all, I know it all, I've heard it all, or whatever. But I guarantee you that at least 50% of all the content in every issue of Wang's is going to be something that you've never seen before, you've never heard before. I mean, there's something for everybody, literally. I mean, it's not just, catering to the uninitiated. The magazine actually, as a matter of fact, I would say more caters to people that basically are looking, they think they've had their fill of this, that, and the other thing, and all of a sudden out comes these, like Brian says, like Nigerian gangster films out of nowhere. So it gives you something new to kind of pursue. It gives you a new avenue to check out after you think you basically spent your load on everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're not just doing magazines anymore. We just branched out into our first creator-owned project. So,
oh, nice.
We're publishing other people's stuff now. We just we brought in Troy Howarth, who's the director of So Dead. So yeah, he just So Deadly, So Perverse. He just did the Fulci book.
Yeah.
He actually has finished a book on Klaus Kinski.
Yes.
Klaus Kinski.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
And the
Really
cover
cool.
is gorgeous. The
Right?
cover is
It is.
gorgeous.
Isn't it,
Yeah.
though?
Yeah. And I was going to say one of my favorite paintings of the longest time. Actually, I forget which issue it was, Brian. You'd know better than I would. That cover that someone did with the long-haired Kinski.
Oh yes. As a matter of fact, he did, and I feel so bad for not immediately remembering his name. Kelly Forbes.
Yeah, that's
Kelly
gorgeous.
Forbes, yeah, he did some work for Fangoria. I saw some of the stuff he had done, and I was he was interested in the magazine. A lot of writers from different magazines, and I won't say who, but a lot of them come to me and they're like, dude, can I draw for the magazine? Can I do a cover for you guys? Can I write something? And so, yeah, it was a beautiful cover. And Troy was offering something interesting, and he's a great writer. He's a fantastic writer. And so we were like, hell yeah, let's do this. So the book, I think we're pretty close to wrapping it up. And I think it's like, I want to say it's like 400 pages, probably a little less than that, but the black and white version will be out in the next few weeks, and then after that, we're releasing a 2-volume color set.
Oh wow!
Color in their life, and we do. That's another thing for anyone interested in checking out Weng's Chop. If you've got money to blow out your butt, we actually offer. We used to offer like 3 different covers for each magazine. Now we actually offer one magazine, but we offer a color version. They're pricey. And they're like $30, but they're pricey as hell. But when you flip through
gorgeous.
200, yeah, they are. They're really pretty. But for 250 pages, Amazon is pretty much flipping the bill, and of course they eat all the profit. But they're gorgeous books. So, and then after this, I think after Troy's book, we are actually Tim Paxton is actually working on a book featuring, oh God, I want to say 1 million because the guy is a machine.
Yeah.
Indian horror films. The book is called Fantastic India.
Wow.
And, you're not going to find. It just doesn't exist. There's no book out there that covers as much as Tim Paxton will. So.
Jesus.
Right.
That's
another hole. We're filling lots of holes.
Nice.
That's a lot of 3-hour films.
I'm telling you, sometimes he'll send me a box, and I'll get a box, and I'm like, oh, cool, what's in here? I'll rip it open, and it'll be like, Indian goddess films and mythology films, and they're at least 3 hours long. No subtitles.
Yeah.
The guy's a beast. Yeah, he's just sits through this stuff, and he just devours it. I'm like, wow.
Damn.
It's nuts.
We had one of my dear friends on to cover a film named Abhay, and I still don't think he's going to talk to me again.
The film was Abhay.
Abhay. Yeah.
And it was it wasn't quite 3.5 hours, was it?
I don't know. I know that
it was at least 2.5. I think.
Yeah, close to 3. I think.
At the end, it had a 45-minute flashback.
Yeah, no. Halfway through, it was a 45-minute flashback about child abuse.
Yeah.
So 3.5 hours. So Raven Shadow must have watched it.
I did see that. I did see in stages.
Stages of inebriation, probably.
Yeah, you really have to go into the Bollywood films with a completely different mindset, because we stopped singing in our films in the 40s.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, there was a half an hour dance recital thing going on.
Yeah, a couple in the 70s, out there. Of course, now they're getting away from that. They'll have a straight 3-hour movie with no dance sequences, but they may be in a bar with a dance sequence going on over the television.
Right.
Right.
And they'll sort of that's your dance scene. But yeah, I mean, you almost can't sit down and watch it without the dance sequences, the singing, the lots of insinuating, sexual insinuation. Because they can't, no nudity or anything like that.
It's so crazy. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that. Well, there's a book out, and I think you have it, Dynamo. I know I do. Maybe you guys do, called Mondo Macabro.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And
I
that,
don't
that
have
kinda,
Mondo Macabro.
Oh, you don't? I
No.
thought you did.
No.
And
that breeze you felt was me trying to knock you on the head every time you turned around when you brought it in studio.
can steal it.
And it's a fantastic book. But if what Brian is saying about this upcoming book on what kind of films was it again?
It's
Indian films.
Yeah, all Indian supernatural horror films.
Yeah. That book will just scrape the surface of if that's the case, because that's a fantastic book in its own right. But
it is.
Right.
It's a classic. Yeah, it's absolutely.
Peter Toombs, what he did with that book, it was a book that really lit a fire under my ass. That really got me to go and dig out a lot of old things that I'd never ever experienced before, into way deeper into like Indonesian film and Barry Prima and a lot. The floating head films, the black magic films, all those things.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's what really got me was reading Mondo Macabro was just like, oh man, this is exactly like the passport to my mind that I need.
Right.
It opened so many doors, that book, and that's what I think. In a way, I think that like Weng's is an actual extension of Mondo Macabro, and because I think we're on par with doing what Peter did, because it's the same thing. It's just the love of the obscure and the love of the forgotten and the subgenres of the things that nobody really talks about anymore.
Right.
And the industry is it's taken like a super hit. I mean, in the last few years, we've seen so many companies go under. The ones that are left are really struggling to find and release good stuff. There's still some really great stuff coming out, but it's books like Wang's Chop and Monster that sort of remind people that if you just do a little digging, especially with the internet at your disposal, there's literally no excuse anymore for not finding films that are interesting. It's such a shame. People I have people tell me all the time, oh, you write a magazine on movies, like what? And I'll say, well, and this and this and that, and Hong Kong this and blah blah, and they're like, oh, I didn't know there was new movies out and stuff. And I'm like, you do not have a supercomputer in your pocket? Like, go down and look for that shit.
And the other thing I wanted to say too was that with Weng's is that we don't do a digital copy of the book. It's actual physical content. And when I was showing people in Bucheon, I was saying over and over again, you never hear anybody say, "I love the smell of digital." Nobody said, just to be able to actually, it's like, whenever I get an issue of Weng's, I want to get two of them. I want to get one to basically, store away and one to leaf through,
Right. I'm the same way.
It's so pristine. I want one that's just got to be pristine, and that physical element is missing in so much now. And I think that's what I love about what we do, is that, it's an actual physical thing. Brian could easily say, we'll put out a PDF, but it's like, what the hell's the point in that? It's not the same. It's not even close.
Yeah, you need something tangible, something physical in your hands that'll, that you can look at and you could store away and you could sit down and see the binding on it, and say, that's mine. You can't do that with digital shit.
Right, and I did I put in my my work in the trenches and blogs. I've been doing. I ran Joe Horror for years, joehorror.com, and that was back in 2003 or 4. And then I went on to Wild Side Cinema and did some writing for some other magazines. And you know what? The reason why I don't want digital is not just because, of course, everyone is such a bootlegging scumbag nowadays, including myself. I'm a total scumbag. But the one thing is that. You toil, you bust your ass online writing for these blogs, and eventually they're going to be gone. They'll be gone. You'll literally need the Wayback Archive, the Wayback Machine to find these websites again. Some of them will, and then all of that writing, all your shit, is gone.
Wait a minute, you mean it's not going to be in the cloud?
It'll be there. It'll be there it'll be there. But the problem is
It'll be in the clud.
Right after that, it's almost as if everything just moves on without you. But go to Amazon, and you can find the Mondo Macabro book still. You can find it. Everybody out there, unless you put it on paper, it's not going to survive. And granted, not all paper survives. Some books are long forgotten. But I felt like this was an opportunity that would probably outlive me, I'm hoping it will. Like, you know, it'd be nice to know that in 30 years from now, people will have these collections and they'll be reading them and they'll remember. You know?
I'd also like to clarify something. I know Tim spoke on this a little bit and Brian did some, but we keep saying magazine. And I feel to a degree that's almost a misnomer with you guys' with Wang Chop. I'm looking at what is I think it's the long hair Klaus Kinski photo that cover that Tim was talking about. It kind of looks like a zombie in it, Tim. Yeah. There's a picture here online. I'll post it in the Fib, our Trick or Treat Radio group, where someone has that book on their desk, and they have their thumb pressed to the side of the spine. As I don't know if they're just it's by coincidence, but it's the girth of this is bigger than this person's thumb. Like, this is not a, you know, this is a like, you know, you've probably bought film books at conventions and stuff that aren't as beefy as Wang Chop is on a, you know, an issue to issue basis.
Oh yeah, we put out phone books, man. We put out phone books.
Mike, I know Michael Ravenshire. I wanted to see push it down that way. That is a beautiful cover, by the way.
Yeah, we do. It started out as a zine, you know, a real deal, honest to goodness, small, digest size. I think it was only like, I don't remember how many pages it was, 30, 40 maybe, or maybe even 50, I don't remember. But it was small, and, you know, when I sat down and talked to him, I said, oh, you know, it's really doing good. Let's go ahead and scale up. Let's see what we can do. Let's see how much we can push the envelope on. And it just got bigger and bigger. And I think when we hit 200, and I think at one time we hit 275 pages, and you know, that was pretty much it. It pretty much never went down. I don't think we've dipped down past 200 pages in forever.
That's like us when we hit the 4-hour mark.
Right.
You can open up a book, start reading it, set it down, come back like in a few days. I mean, these are like the kind of things that take like a few weeks to finish.
Yeah.
Right.
I often wonder how you have the time. I remember when I met you just from being on, I think it was just the horror movie board on Facebook, Brian. And like, which by the way, my experience, I've been meaning to always tell you the story, but my experience on that offline as a moderator has had like a film or a story percolating in my brain for like a long time now, and I'm just wondering, like, I'm always anxious to get your point of view on some of that stuff, but like, you know, like you like I'd like see you, and then I'd see like the links that you do, and it took a while to figure out that it was all like, it took till Monster came out for me to figure out that it was all like you were involved in all of it, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like I felt like I did some stuff over the course of the week, like. But like, geez, like you're you know, like, and you were up when I was up too. That was another thing which showed me that you know, you were burning the midnight oil. So you know, thanks for giving us a lot of awesome stuff to digest. Even the Facebook groups, you know, like I don't always like. I feel like my contributions are too like always a day late and $1 short by the time we get to review them or whatever on the show. But like. You know, like it's just you know, like I wasn't joking when I said that I, you know, find a lot of cool stuff to watch from those. So thank you, sir. I wanted to be able to say that. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't really sleep.
I know. I know when we spoke at the same time that.
Yeah.
That
and I couldn't ask for two better partners. Tim Paxton and Tony Strauss are. Tim does layout, and of course he's a scary writer, and Tony does editing, and of course he's another writer's Maximus. And then of course I'm the horror. I'm pretty much the pimp who, you know, the sort of the front man of the act, and I sort of push everything on people. And so, you know, yeah, I love doing it. I love getting on the groups I create, and just. My goal is to really introduce something new, because I love all the classics. Everyone does.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
But how many fucking years do we have to talk about Christopher Lee? I love the guy, but I don't want. I mean, literally, all you have left to talk about is the wrinkles in his scrotum. I mean, like, there's nothing left to talk
Nice.
You mean nobody's talked about that yet?
We are now. We just broke
Give
that
it time
cherry.
because give it time because that's all that's left. I mean, soon we're going to be interviewing all these horror, Robert Englund's financial advisor because there's nothing left to fucking talk about.
Yeah,
make more movies.
Right, and there's so many new and upcoming movies and so many struggling filmmakers out there that are making quality stuff. I'm not talking to really, I mean, the Z budget guys, they got their people to pimp them, but so that was my goal, is sort of introduce all these people who didn't realize that there was a really great amount of stuff coming out, and I think Facebook groups do a pretty damn good job of introducing a lot of new movies to people.
Sure.
And I was going to make the comment earlier, and I think we've kind of driven it home, but, obviously people can look this stuff up online, but the great thing about what you guys are doing is you're kind of filtering it and letting people know kind of the best of the best.
Sure.
And so you're doing it so other people don't have to, so they don't have to, go through those, all those 3-hour movies that maybe aren't worth it when they can go and find these specific ones or specific directors and filmmakers and artists. And, I think there's something kind of cool about that, because we've long lamented about how awesome it was back in the day to get the new Fangoria back in the 80s.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Because that's where you got your horror news, like there's no internet. There's, you don't get that stuff anywhere else. So you had to read Fango. And, you'd see the cool movies that are going to be coming out and what's, find out what's coming. And, now you obviously don't need to do that, but it's cool that you guys are sort of digging down and finding hey, here's some buried treasures, here's some new stuff to check out. And, and I think it's really awesome. And the price is so reasonable.
For sure.
It's crazy. I'm looking on Amazon right now. You can get them anywhere from $6 up,
I mean, you guys are touching stuff. You guys are touching stuff that even somebody like Tim Lucas,
you guys
doesn't even delve into, which is super awesome.
You guys are touching people like Monster Zero wouldn't even touch them.
Yeah, nobody wants to touch me, man.
Well, it's funny because when you show people they've never seen, the magazine before, you show them, they just come thumb through it. The first thing they just say to you is, just show me where to throw money at. That's it.
Yeah.
Show me where to throw the money at it, and I'll just keep throwing money at it. Oh, this is amazing, and it just sells itself. I mean, looking at it on Amazon, you can't even compare it to actually just looking at a copy in your hands and just going, damn, man, I have to own this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna. I mean, sure, you can go online. You can find anything out you want about Mexican wrestlers or Malaysian pokongs or Filipino aswangs or anything like that. These different kinds of monsters that are from these different countries and the movies that are come out. But if you seek out our magazine, we often have these large 17, 18, 19, 20 page articles featuring things like Malaysian pokong and Malaysian pokong. I mean, the very fact that I know that is people are like, what the hell's a pokong?
The kids in Malaysia right now playing Malaysian Pokemon Go.
Yeah, they're we get people that are like, why do you want to feature Filipino aswang? I like asswangs.
Yeah.
And I think you guys will too. So if you read it, you might find out that they're pretty fucking cool monsters. Or
sure,
these are really great films. There's more than just Santo and Blue Demon.
Right. I don't want to sound like a pretentious bum whiffer, but in a way, a lot of people that write about the things that they love with Wangs, it's almost like an anthropology book in ways that how professors get deep into the history of the things that they study and they go really deep. I mean, like I'm saying, this is almost like a sociological, anthropological study of cult film. It's just incredible how, because a lot of the articles at the end, people will tell you, well, the footnotes or these are the places you can get more information on these things, and it's just. It's history, man. It's deep knowledge. It's complete knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree 100%. Yeah, if you check it out, buy one issue. Buy the cheapest issue you can find, and don't ever pay. And I will tell you this because Amazon, I've caught third-party sellers on Amazon doing this. Don't ever pay $40 for an issue of our magazine. Don't ever pay $600 for our magazine. Like we never go out of print because of Amazon. So there's never a time where you will not be able to get a magazine. We don't sell out. There's no such thing as second edition, third edition, limited editions, nothing like that. So, go there, seek out one of the cheap issues, grab it, and I guarantee you, later on you'll be like, yo, when's the next one coming out?
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a cool thing that just to know that this is out there, and that's why I want to bring it to other people, and I know a lot of people that listen to the show would totally be into this magazine, and they're gonna love it. So, like I said, I even feel bad calling it a magazine. It's more a tome.
Yeah.
So everyone out there, go check this out.
For sure.
I think you're gonna
It's
dig
awesome.
it. Yeah.
I know Tim is on board, but I'm gonna make a love connection for Brian here if he doesn't already listen, and I'm also gonna make sure that to point out the magazine to these two guys because I know they'll love it. All three of them actually. But if you're not already listening, Brian, you should be listening to a show called The Cult of Muscle. They are of similar mind of you. So they're always pulling stuff up. Then I'm like, what? Like I thought I knew about some of this stuff.
Right.
So.
Right, and that's a good thing. Pass me the links, the info.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Don't listen to last week. Don't listen to that one
because he was on it.
Yes. So, but
yeah, that's it's some pretty cool stuff. So I want everyone to go check it out. Even if you're on the fence, it's even Prime. Like if you have Amazon Prime, free shipping.
Right.
There's really no excuse. You could get. I think the cheapest one I saw was $6.
Right.
So you could get one of these massive magazines, Wang's Chop, for $6 delivered in 2 days to your door. So
and you could do it through the Trick or Treat Radio Amazon link,
yes,
and
that's
then
true.
we're all fucking happy.
Yeah, we'll definitely post a few links to this so you guys can use our link.
It's win, baby.
It's Weng Weng, baby.
Wow. Oh, now let's talk about a little Weng Weng, shall we?
No.
Well, that thing in your pants?
Oh no, he's gonna bust a rib again. Oh, he's choking now.
That's like the new game. Bust Dynamo's ribs.
Yeah.
Bust the ribs.
I cracked a rib on my other show, and these guys think it's fucking hilarious to make me hurt myself.
Yeah,
he cracked it.
That's gonna be your new hip hop name. They're right there, Buster Ribs.
Yeah, no.
Buster Ribs.
That's actually what I think. Somebody said that was gonna be my new metal name.
No, the new metal band was Papa Ribs.
Papa Ribs, right?
Ribs.
So let's transition, and we have just a few minutes for this, Tim. So we're probably not going to be able to talk about as much as I would like to, but I'm very curious to hear about your experience at BiFan.
Well, I actually hit the festival a couple of weeks ago. BiFan is the Bucheon International Fantastic Film Festival. It's the 20th year this year. The first time I'd actually gone there was, I think it was in 1999, was the first one I had attended. So I've been going periodically over the last 18 years and checking out the festival. The festival so is free. You hear me?
We lost you for a second. It's doing the cutting out thing. So.
Oh shit!
All right, I think we're good now. Let's give it another shot.
Okay. So the Bucheon International Fantastic Festival, it's only been, this is the 20th year of the past festival, last 2 weeks ago. And the first time I'd gone was in 1999. So I've been going periodically for the last 17 years, 18 years. And this festival is incredible because it's only 11 days. This year, they actually ran 320 films from 49 different countries in 11 days.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And this festival is really, really special to South Korea because this is the only opportunity that people get to see a lot of genre stuff that would never, ever, ever be released in Korea. I mean, you know, and it's incredible that the festival is also sponsored by the government, you know, the Ministry of Arts and Culture.
Right.
And they screen stuff like all the Necromantic film, Serbian film. They've screened Salo. They've screened Caligula. They've screened Salon Kitty.
Yeah.
They've done Tin Aspects. They've shown like just incredible things that you would never ever get to see at any other time in Korea. Like this is like the once a year Christmas in July. That's what I call it. So I was there representing Weng's for a weekend and a half, and I only got to catch, I caught 14 films in 3 days. So
it's pretty impressive.
That's a lot of movies.
Yeah, well, I was completely fried by the end of it. But, I'll just basically touch on some of the ones I've seen. I got Rob Zombie's 21, and well, for me, I mean, you know, if you're a zombie fan, is 75% more zombie. You know, it's pretty much more of the same. And I mean, you know, I sat through half of this film and watched it, and in my mind, I just kept hearing the Benny Hill theme. You know, because it was just that kind of, okay, I've been here, seen this. But I will say this is his gnarliest film to date, and I'm amazed if he's ever going to get this released uncut with the MPAA, because this film's it's pretty brutal. Then I saw another film, The Lure, the Polish film, that was really interesting. And you got to check out the trailer for this. It's really bizarre. It's about a twin pair of mermaids that were in a club in Poland in the 1980s. And it's a really bizarre, it's a twisted little dark fan musical, dark fairy tale, almost like a Grimm's fairy tale for adults with music and Moulin Rouge with mermaids. It was really weird. That was cool. I saw a film that's going to become Mars's new favorite film, The Greasy Strangler.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you can imagine if they basically sucked all the fat out of somebody after a liposuction and put it in a kiddie pool and then emptied all the juice out of a garbage bag, and then somebody just jumped in and started wading around in it. That's kind of the gist of this film. I mean, it's are you guys familiar with 8 Ball?
Oh yeah.
Daniel.
Yeah. He's not talking about the film.
No.
Daniel Klaus, right?
Yeah, this is like a live-action version of Daniel Klaus's 8 Ball, right?
Hey.
Mixed with John Waters. It's just really bizarre, man. It's completely original, but it's you're gonna come out completely feeling icky afterwards, man. I mean, I've never seen a film where a guy winds up pouring bacon grease on half a grapefruit and eating it like a vagina. Like,
Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. It's pretty intense. I saw Sam Wong's new film, Bodyguard, which was really good. Surprising, because you don't think Sammo still has any juice left in him, but oh yeah, he does. I mean, it's still pretty full on, man. I mean, I still give that guy mad props and ultimate respect, you know. And then I got to spend time with our mutual friend Kurando Mitsutake, and I got to see Karate Kill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That was just an experience, because I was me and Ken Evrenol, who's a director of Baskin from Turkey, we sat beside each other and we're sitting there, and in the air conditioning of I have to say that in Busan, all the majority of the films are all screened in shopping malls here. That what the film festival does is they just rent out theaters for the week, and then they actually screen all the films in shopping mall theaters, like a chain of multiplexes. So I'm sitting there in the middle of Karate Kill, Cam's sitting beside me, and all of a sudden there's a strip joint scene with this big ass that comes on the screen, and we're sitting there looking at each other, and I'm like, I'm in Seoul, South Korea. I'm in Busan, South Korea, in the middle of a shopping mall on a Sunday afternoon, watching a big ass on the screen. It's like, thank you, South Korea, man. This is, and it's sponsored by the government, right? It's just this is just amazing. But they also did a 20-year retrospect that really incredible this year. Is they actually went back and screened all the films in the past Like this year they had screened Martyrs, they had screened Cube, screened Memento, they'd screened Ring, they'd screened all these films that were groundbreaking in the past, and that was incredible as well. And the other thing that was neat about the festival was that I actually got a chance to sit down for a half an hour with the director, Tetsuya Nakashima, who had actually filmed. He was the director of, I don't know if you guys had ever seen Confessions.
I have not.
No.
Yes.
Confessions, Memory of Matsuko, Kamikaze Girls. And, and it was really, really interesting getting the opportunity to sit down and talk with him. That was a blast. And what's really awesome about the whole thing in itself is that it's almost like a feast where everyone comes around. All these chefs come from around the world. They come to the festival to basically unleash their feast on Korean audiences, And then all the directors just in the theater audiences, and they get to gauge all the reactions to their own films, which is a great thing, And then afterwards, everybody gets to sit around and talk about, oh, wow, they really popped at this, and I never thought they'd pop at that. And, it was just awesome to have people from around the world be able to present their films, unadulterated and uncut to Korean audiences, and then to have them see the way that Korean audiences react to them. I just thought that's one of my favorite things about the whole film festival.
Very, very cool. And I saw that not only did you hang out with Kurando, but I saw that you and Kurando were hanging out with Can Evrenol, the director of Baskin.
Lucky.
Oh, Can's, he's one of us, man. Can's a total bro, man. I mean, it's hilarious. We just sat there, the three of us, for a good hour, just sitting at the bar talking about our favorite films. And, oh, man, Spielberg's Duel. No, Jaws. No, Duel. No, Jaws. Yeah, it's so funny because it's just like, kindred spirits when somebody brings up a film and somebody else is like, oh, shit. And it's just like, yeah. And it's amazing. It's incredible. Like I say, that the film festival brought people out from like Thailand, from Turkey, from India, from all over the place, and everyone was just all this. It was like the tribe, And I said I was talking with people, and I said, I'd love to talk, but the is Korea. I can't find the people that really know what I'm talking about.
Right.
To find brethren here, and when everybody gets together for the film festival, it's just like we're all speaking the same language, right? It's incredible. But I wanted to say one of the films that really blew my mind was a good mutual friend of mine, Paul Spurtier from Thailand. It's the second feature film by a foreigner in Thailand. It's a film called The Forest. And I'll let you guys know about the release when it comes out.
Okay.
But this is a really, really cool little solid film about this guy who stops becoming a Buddhist monk, and he goes into a little country, rural countryside little village and becomes a school teacher. And it's a ghost story, but it's not a ghost story. And it's just a beautiful little like amazingly shot film on location up in the northeast of Thailand. It just blew my mind. It just blew my mind.
Yeah, I heard some slight rumblings about that film about maybe 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, this looks pretty intense. This looks pretty good.
Yeah. Like I said, like the Bucheon's a really groundbreaking festival for South Korea because, I mean, like, I'm not trying to badmouth North America or anything, but you guys get fucking spoiled all the time because you got film festivals coming out the wazoo, right? and half the time people won't even bother to go out for them, right?
Yeah.
And here's another thing. I mean, in Bucheon, the films are only $6 a film.
Wow.
Whereas you go to like the New York Film Festival or Toronto, they're $20 a pop.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, and Bucheon's only like about half an hour outside of Seoul by subway. So, I was trying to basically sell people in Seoul on coming out to the festival. And they're like, it's too far. It's expensive. I'm like, shut the fuck up. It's like they could put a screen outside of your house and you wouldn't even step outside to see this shit half the time, But the amazing thing is Korean audiences are dedicated, though. Like, the foreign audiences here, no. But the Korean audiences, almost every screening sells out. And, whenever it's like Christmas time, like getting that Sears catalog and seeing what's going to be for, coming up, what toys are going to be in the new catalog, right? Whenever their programming list comes up, everybody just pops large here, and they're just like, oh shit, I was hoping they would show that. And I mean, and sometimes you're surprised, and sometimes your choices are greatly rewarded. So, but Korea though is a real dedicated film country. I mean, one of the things here you have to realize too is that it's really hot in the summer here. So everybody basically just hides in theaters with all the air conditioning. So it's kind of a national summer pastime to go to the movies here, because it's the only place, like I say, where you can get, free hours, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, it's really cool, and it sounds like you had a blast. And
oh yeah,
I'm super looking forward to checking out a bunch of the films that you recommended. So
I'm going to go into more detail in the next issue of Wings. I'm writing it up right now. There's going to be a big retrospect on Buchan and Mr. Nakashima's retrospective of his film. So yeah,
nice. Cool. Well, there you go. That's a nice little tease and tying both together. So that's very cool. Well, we are going to wind things down here. We have some feedback to get to. I'm not going to. I'm not gonna. If you guys want to stick around, that's totally cool. But I don't know that it'll be a ton of fun just to sit around and listen to messages. So I did definitely want to thank you guys though, because this has been very cool. Like, I feel like you guys brought a different perspective to the review that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
An intelligent one? Is that the one you mean?
That, yes, intelligent and knowledgeable. Like, obviously, Tim, you live in Korea, so we got the cultural, we got a little bit of the culture, in your review and your discussion about it, and obviously Brian is so knowledgeable about Asian cinema as well. It just was a very cool conversation, and hearing you guys just be able to discuss it and give us more insight as well, and especially that story, Tim, you told about the kids on the boat. Like, that was interesting to. That's a perspective that we wouldn't have had otherwise,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
well, there's the thing about it is that here, like, a lot of, I should say that a lot of the cinema here, they can't come right out and make it very blatant, because, with the government here, they take that as ultimate criticism. So
Yeah.
a lot of the art that's coming out now is very subtle. But if you're here, it's about as blatant as a fart in church. I mean, like, if you're Korean, you get it loud and clear. But outside, you just get kind of inklings of what's going down.
Yeah, it's cool to get that perspective for sure. So I definitely want to thank the both of you guys for coming and hanging out with us. And Brian, it's finally it was nice to get you back on. We'll definitely have to do it again. We won't wait.
We'll wait another 4 years.
Yeah.
Gotta be honored.
Yeah,
because now you're back to the bottom of the list again.
I'm sure he's broken up about it.
Yeah.
After he literally raised the review without him being here up a whole type of a whole numbered syllable word.
So I want everyone out there, if you guys dig the show, I can't imagine you wouldn't like Wang's Chop. Go ahead, give it a shot. You'll be helping out both of these guys, really. I mean, I know Tim puts a lot of work into the stuff that he writes as well, and it's a passion project for Brian and has been for a long time. So everyone, just go out there and check out an issue of Wang's Chop and give it a shot. Even if you like Brian said, even if you get the $6 one or the cheapest one you can find, just give it a shot. It sounds like it'll give you a lot of bathroom material for weeks or months. Or coffee table. Keep that on the coffee table when the family comes by. I'm sure they'd love that.
Yeah, but they frown when I shit in the living room, so I can't.
So, Brian, is there any way on social media where people can follow you or Wang's Chop?
Yeah, we have a Wang's Chop profile page on Facebook. You can find it at Wang's Chop. We also have a Wildside Cronus Publications, the main publication page. That's linked there as well. You can also find Monster on it as well. And then anyone, of course, that is connected with Mars will probably be able to find me.
Yeah.
I'm on his friends list there, so I'm probably on quite a few of you guys' friends list. So, yeah.
Yeah, so everyone go check out Wang's Chop on social media. And Tim, why don't you go ahead and talk about, I know we focus mostly on Wang's Chop, but I know you are obviously a part of a podcast as well, so why don't you go ahead and pimp your stuff, my friend?
We that
And of course, while he's doing his plugs, it starts to cut out again.
We can post a
we
link.
put out our latest episode of See Here. Actually, we just did an interview with the young filmmaker who did a documentary actually about the Men at Work song Down Under.
Oh, nice.
Oh, interesting.
And about how the singer of Men at Work, the songwriter, wound up in a big copyright scandal.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Because of Kookaburra, the Australian Kookaburra.
Right.
It's really what happened. But that interview, young filmmaker, his film on that, and music.
This is comical. Every single time whenever you start pimping your stuff, it starts to.
It's like the Amityville Horror around here.
Shit. So we're getting the Downscast, right?
Yeah. It sounds like we're ordering at a drive-through.
Great.
A sexy drive-through, though.
Of course, that comes through perfectly.
And we understood it too.
Well, you sound fine now. So we heard the See Here stuff. What else were you pimping?
That's about all I've got right now, and I'm just doing a lot of writing, and I'm actually working on a script on a short film, and we'll see how that goes.
Man.
And yeah, just trying to stay cool for the summer, and it was a pleasure talking to you guys over the string and tin can. I'm sorry I got broken up here, but what can I do? I mean, shit, man, it's free, right? So I mean, I'm talking to you guys from the other side of the fucking planet. So what can you expect?
On a different day.
Yeah.
Right, on a different day from the future.
Yeah.
Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Muggs. I mean, you guys, above and beyond, man. I love you guys.
You're
all
my
brothers
boy,
from
Tim. You're
different
my boy.
mothers and the gutters.
Absolutely, my friend.
Yeah.
And
Thanks, Tim.
We'll definitely catch up again soon, Tim, and Brian will definitely have to catch up again. So everyone go out there, check out Weng's Chop, and also check out the See Here podcast, and we'll catch up with you cats again down the road. Thank you guys so much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Night.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
guys.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
So cool, man.
Yeah.
So classy.
Yeah.
Like, we just don't deserve it.
We deserve, other things like
Right.
Raven Shadow.
yeah, that's what we deserve.
Yeah, you
Seaweed-
fucking
Seaweed mama.
White Shadow.
White Shadow?
White Shadow.
White Shadow?
Yeah, remember that basketball player with the afro?
Yeah.
That's you.
Oh, okay.
Except for the basketball.
He's sort of shaped like a basketball.
Yeah. Johnny, I gotta go, man.
What?
I gotta go.
Why do you gotta go?
I got some important business papers to some briefs. I got to debrief myself.
Why didn't you leave during the review?
I know I was gonna.
Well, all right. We got feedback, but hey,
I know. But no, big ups, everyone.
Big ups,
Big
everyone.
ups to big ups to yourselves.
Big ups to yourselves.
Big ups to Korea.
Big ups to, I like Korea. They're doing new things over there.
Big ups to Pantera.
I love
they're
Pantera.
They're doing a lot of Korean
Go to
things
bed,
over there in
Pantera.
Korea.
All right, man.
All right. Goodbyes are getting long.
All right, Raven Shadow's out.
I knew something was wrong when he showed up only half dressed up today.
All right, so let's hear. Nicholas sent in a Police Academy review.
Oh, maybe. I thought Raven Shadow's put his headset back on.
All right, let's hear from Nicholas.
Hey guys, Nick here, and as promised, I'm going to give a police squad. No, not police squad. Police Academy. Retrospective, kind of. These won't probably be every week because it may be like every other. I don't know. I might watch two to probably today. But so yeah, this was pretty funny. I give this. Let's just start with the grade. I give this movie a B+. Very funny.
Excellent.
Typical 80s, but very funny. It's I love the stuff in the beginning. I was surprised how funny Steve Guttenberg was. I'm not a big Guttenberg fan, you know.
Fucking should be.
I know he was a shit in the 80s, but like, you ever see that Pod movie? Old people having sex? Not that good.
Cocoon.
So yeah,
Cocoon,
sorry, wrong movie. So
Ad movie.
yeah, it was funny. I liked Kim Cattrall. She was actually pretty funny. It's a shame she stopped being funny and did Sex in the City. The Hightower character was funny, ex-football player kind of guy. The gentle giant kind of thing. What's his face? The guy that does the noises is hilarious. I love when you first meet him, and he's making the noise at the police office, and he can make gun noises and stuff like that. This movie kind of gets formulaic near the end. It's kind of a typical 80s with the whole now it's, even though the second movie's called Their First Assignment, they're got to do the riot, stop the riot in the city, and it was a little okay, we get it, and your chief that you didn't like is probably going to be in trouble, and you're going to help him because you're the Gutenberg, and but it was still very funny. The whole beginning half, I could not, shame it on just the end. So it was pretty fun. I will send you I only have 1 through 4, so I'll send you those once I watch them. Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right. What do you guys think of Nick's review?
I can't wait for part 2.
Yeah, I agree. That's my fucking enjoyment right there.
Well, the thing is, we only got one more from Nick, and it was Police Academy grades 1 through 4. So it looks like we didn't get reviews for 2 and 3 or 4. So let's go ahead. I'll go right to that. We'll keep the Police Academy love rolling, and let's hear the grades.
Hey, Trick or Treat Radio. I don't know if I sent these. I might have sent half of them or so. But here's my ratings for the 4
Police Academy movies.
Police Academy films that I own. So let's see. Police
Thought
Academy
you were
1.
leaving.
Well, let's talk about Police
B+.
Academy.
Police Academy 2, which is the best by far.
Yes.
B+. Police Academy 3, C. And Police Academy 4, D+.
Whoa.
Thanks, guys. I have no interest in watching the 3 other ones. Thanks, bye.
The TV show or the cartoon, probably.
Well, just Steve Gutenberg. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So,
But part 2 is the funniest one out of the bunch.
Yes.
That movie is so goddamn funny.
Did you hear what he rated 2? I
B+.
B+.
Okay. Well, maybe an A-, but
Yeah, no, it's
Come on, Zed and Sweet Chuck. That bumps it up to at least an A.
Oh my! On the fucking the ATV on the beach. I thought all cops did that. That's why I wanted to be a cop.
Never fool with a fuzzball.
I'm kind of bummed out that Nick didn't like Citizens on Patrol.
Citizens on Patrol. Young David Spade.
Yeah.
David Spade. Brian Backer.
Was he the kid with the black hair? He was also in Moving Violations.
Yeah, that's Brian Backer. Yeah.
He was also Fast Times.
Yeah.
Fucking he was
Ratner.
Yeah. Ratner. Huh?
What do you think?
He threatened him.
What do you think?
He just threatened him. He's not even supposed to be here.
Jesus.
And he's threatening MZ.
Yeah. Who are you, Donald Trump?
No.
If this guy he
might not have any ribs left.
he takes so much. If he threatened us for every
I'm just telling you.
for everything, what are you gonna do? Kill us?
Yeah.
He was also in The Burning.
Yes. Trump.
Wait, did I threaten?
No, I'm saying all the abuse you take, you never threaten people, but he just threatens.
Yes, he does all the time. He threatened people before the show started.
Yeah, he doesn't go like this, like he's gonna slit someone's throat.
No,
Jesus.
shut the fuck up.
You just did the I'm gonna slit your throat thing. Yeah, you did.
Is that what it is?
It was on camera.
No, that's a bad camera.
I don't threaten anybody.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You do all the time.
That's not true.
Did you say the person you were in the parking lot today, you threatened her?
Well,
she deserved.
Well, she was coming after him.
Yeah, she was actually. As soon as I got out of the car, and I think part of it was like that guilt that you get when you know you fucked up. Like she was yelling at me right away. So I don't even know what I would have done because as soon as I saw her, I was like intimidated because it was like that that old movie thing where it's like, you want to fight? And the person's like, yeah, that's not Junior. This is Junior. And it's like 10 foot tall and 300 pounds. Yeah. Junior got out of the car, but it was Mrs. Junior. This lady ate Junior. This was like Master Blaster, but she ate the Master.
Junior bacon cheese.
Oh, yeah, it was bad. It was not good. I didn't threaten her, though, because she could have won in a fight. It did look like on the internet I threatened to flip El Goro, but that was not the case.
Well,
I could flip him, though.
Brian just posted a very nice message on Facebook saying, big thanks to Dynamo, Wolfie, Tim from Korea, and all the guys for having me on Trick or Treat Radio. It was cool to touch base, discuss film, and being able to pimp our magazines was an honor. Thank you. So, very nice of Brian to do that.
Hey, no sweat.
And, all right, let's see what we got next. We have a message from, Steve Jobs called again. I guess that iPhone he had just stays charged under the ground, apparently. So let's hear from Steve.
Hi, it's Steve Jobs again.
Hi, Steve.
I would like to know if there was a fight between...
Oh, there might be.
The Terminator,
and here.
Xenomorph, a Predator, and Robocop. Who would you bet on to win? Buy Apple.
So we have a Predator, a Xenomorph,
Terminator,
and Robocop.
First of all, kudos on your Wi-Fi connection in that ground.
He has the eye coffin.
The eye coffin.
The eye coffin.
Well, let's break this down real quick. The Xenomorph's out right away because, like, they're like sneaky, and if they're just out in the open, Robocop and the Terminator and the Predator would shoot the shit out of one. So that one's gone.
Okay.
I think Robocop's not very mobile, so he'd probably
He is noble, though.
Yeah, he's very noble.
Noble, but not mobile.
Yeah, so he'd probably get shot in the face, and that'd be that.
I don't know, man.
No, you know, I think Robocop would be the first to go.
Before the Xenomorph?
Before the Xenomorph.
Xenomorph?
Yeah.
the Xenomorph.
The
They have those outside
Xenomorph?
the studio.
That'd be scary.
Because he is stealthy.
Robocop? Every time he moves, it goes...
No, I'm talking about the Xenomorph.
Putting up that
Xenomorph.
fucking WCW bit when he fucking goes
The
to the...
Xenomorph... The Xenomorph is stealthy.
when he
The
and
Xenomorph
Sting-
is stealthy. But...
Wait, is Sting there?
But the Predator would be able to see the Xenomorph.
Right. So would Robocop, and so would the Terminator.
So which Terminator are we talking? Just a regular old...
I would say Arnold.
The blonde chick.
No, that's not.
I was going to say if it's a T-1000.
It's Arnold.
It's Arnold, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
So then I think for me I say Xenomorph, Robocop, but regardless, that seems universal. They're the first two out. So.
As far as
So
I
we got
think who would win, I
Terminator
think the Terminator would end up
I do
winning.
too, and it hurts me because the Predator is my favorite. But
I think Predator. Why Terminator?
Well,
because they're hard to kill.
Not only is he hard to kill, but also, I mean, he is living flesh over endoskeletons. So, I mean, if you were to, if acid was to destroy the skin,
yeah,
you know, I mean,
wouldn't hurt, right?
It wouldn't hurt him,
or it wouldn't matter,
right? And I mean, you could do pretty much anything as far as to a Terminator. I mean, they're still going to come after you. You could blow an arm off. You could still come after you.
And the facehuggers probably don't have any effect on Terminator, right?
No.
Right. Might have an effect on Robocop, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would come down to Predator, Terminator, and I would have to say, because I don't know if honestly that the Predator has the artillery to take down a Terminator.
I would have to agree. Terminator, Predator.
The thing we're not taking into account is where is this happening? Is it like...
It's happening at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Drunk at a wedding.
Where a kill could be a kill.
It's happening at a Starbucks.
Where a kill could be a kill.
Yeah.
I still think Predator, I think.
No, because Arnold Schwarzenegger defeated him as Arnold
Without-
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
And then so did Murtaugh.
Murtaugh?
Yeah.
Murtaugh.
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover.
Murtaugh's chasing around the Dukes. Murtaugh. So yeah. So wait, we have one Predator in 3 Terminators.
Yeah, Terminator.
I'd say Terminator.
Van
It would be Terminator versus Predator.
So is
at
that
the
a
end,
Van
but it would be
Terminator?
Yeah. So Terminator wins.
All right. I guess there you go. You got your answer, Steve. Terminator wins. All right. Let's hear...
We should have said that though, because from the grave he'll make Skynet now.
That's true. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. He probably was wondering, yeah. Who's going to make it?
Robocop wins. He can't sneak up on anybody. Boy Scouts shoot the fuck out of Robocop.
The ninja-like skills of Robocop.
Wait, where's Ed 209 in this? Oh, he's...
No, Johnny 5 wins. Steve Jobs. He's a nice
yeah,
safe
BB-8,
robot.
Johnny 5, Ed 209,
No, not
and
Ed 209. He has big Gatling guns.
The thing from Lost in Space.
Robbie the Robot.
The robot.
Oh, Robbie the Robot.
Danger.
and the little robot dog from the Tom Baker version of Doctor Who.
K9, baby.
K9, that's it. Yeah.
Twiggy.
All right. Did any of you? Well, actually, I'm not going to ask because I know the answer. I happened to tune in to our buddy Wooberman and his awesome game-a-thon that he did. 24.
I watched.
You did?
I watched a little bit of it.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys surprised me then. Okay.
He was playing a really dark game. I didn't watch very long.
Yeah, he played 24 hours. He went straight, did a gaming marathon to raise money for cancer research, and it was fucking awesome. Like,
he's the best.
He was so entertaining, so much fun.
Yep.
And he was very gracious to thank us for the help, even though, I mean, he did all the work. He did the 24 hours. We just did what we could to help promote as much as we could. And but Wooberman did send us a message, so I think it's just kind of maybe a rundown of the fundraiser. So let's hear from Woobs.
Trick or Treat Radio, this is Wooberman. I just wanted to come in and say thank you guys so much for all your support, your promotion that you've done for me for my 24-hour gaming marathon for Macmillan Cancer Support. By the end of it, I managed to raise, I mean we, and most importantly you, managed to raise £573.65, which is approximately $746.
Wow. Very good.
I had a wonderful time, despite how it may have looked in some of the videos here and there. I believe the entire thing is still available to view on twitch.tv/Wooberman. And a little special thank you to Sir Isaac for giving me a terrible experience of playing through Daikatana, which was actually quite enjoyable in the end. And I'm glad that it had such a positive response at the time. It was a hard slog, but we managed it, and with the help of everybody in chat and you guys out there, managed to get there in the end. And even the Grand Guignol Network themselves managed to win the grand prize of the raffle. So,
that's right.
Some may shout fix. I don't think I was possible of fixing anything at that point. So thank you very much, and I love you.
Oh. So we did. I actually neglected to mention that. We won the grand prize, the Grand Guignol Network.
Wow.
Speaking of which, pay up, you layabouts.
Yeah, it's in the bag.
I was wondering when it was going to be brought up. I was going to bring it up to you during the breaks, but it's like, damn, I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
I have it.
So
it's not with me.
I left it in the bank. You know how it is.
Yeah. We did win the grand prize, which was, it's a new game called Battleborn, and it comes with a bunch of cool stuff. There's like a skin pack. You can get different skins for your character, and also some in-game currency. So I don't know what the value of that thing was, but I'm sure it's a pretty penny. So it was very cool that we got to win that. And
how much do I owe?
We'll talk about it off air. Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
How much you got?
Oh, it's not much.
Let's give him a checkbook.
Chains is going to pay more than any of you guys paid, because he wanted to give a lot. So
yeah, I'm sure because Chains is the best. But
it was awesome, and Wooberman was so much fun, and it is available, like you said, twitch.tv/Wooberman. Go check that out if you haven't. I know it's not as fun to watch when it's not live, but it's still
it's fun.
Yeah, you'll still have some fun with
awesome.
it. Yeah. And I think what he's going to do is, I think eventually he's going to break them up into more discrete chunks and post them up on YouTube. So,
cool.
For all of you who haven't seen it, go seek it out. It was a lot of fun, and Wooberman is a fucking beast. Like, I don't even know how he did that. 24 hours straight. He took like 5-minute breaks every 4 hours.
Ugh.
I would just forget about the eating. Just not being able to snap the carrot alone would make it so that I would not be able to do it.
Well, if you have a 5-minute break, you could do it a couple times.
Yeah, but I don't, your right hand's got to be like tired regardless.
I don't turn me on, so it takes a little longer.
You don't look at pictures of yourself?
No. Contrary to popular belief.
All right, well, let's hear from our buddy First Time Mike.
Hi, First Time Mike.
What's up, Trick or Treat family? This is first time Mike.
Yeah.
Back from my vacation, and hoping everybody is well. How's everybody doing?
Doing well, my friend.
I'd like to talk a little bit about last episode. You were talking about the telekinetic movies. I'd like to back up. First of all, I'd like to back up Josh on The Power. I saw that on TCM a couple years ago. I can see where he says that it could be a inspiration for scanners. There's a lot of really weird imagery in it. That it's a movie I stumbled on, and I was watching TV with my dad, and he said he kind of remembered the movie, but I had to research it, and it was a strange little movie. It's not one that's really well known or played, so I'm going to have to check it out again due to Josh's recommendation. One of my favorite telekinetic scenes, well, I wouldn't say favorite, but is one of the sleazier ones, is a one from Patrick Viva Ancora, also known as Patrick Still Lives. It was a Italian quote-unquote sequel to the Australian movie Patrick, and there's a couple scenes in there involving telekinesis. It's a lot sleazier than the original Patrick. But there's the scene involving Mary Angelo, I think it's Giordano, how you pronounce the last name. She played the mom in Burial Ground with the creepy kid. A lot of you people know who I'm talking about. And it involves her and a long fire poker put in a very uncomfortable place.
The back of a Volkswagen?
Which I'm not going to say here because it's kind of disgusting if you've seen the scene. And I recommend it's Patrick Still Lives, also known as Patrick Viva Ancora. At last, I can remember getting it off a Netflix DVD, but you'd have to check that out. That's one of my favorite sleazy telekinetic moments. I enjoyed the show last week, and I'm going to try to get a Mind's Eye review, if not this week, next week. Talk to you guys later, and everybody have a good evening. Bye.
Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. Hopefully you had a nice vacation. I know back to the real world now, so...
Yeah.
Awesome. So I love that he echoed Josh's sentiment about Power.
The real world's for assholes.
Yeah. So very cool. Thank you, first time Mike. We just got another voicemail. Let me go ahead and I'll pull this one up. This is from our buddy from Down Under.
Nice.
Hey.
So let's hear from Dane, otherwise known as Dane Under.
What up, Trick or Treat Radio? It's your man Dane from Down Under. G'day, mate. How you going? Let me just say, the reason I do that shit is so that you guys can't do it. Because I've already done it. Fucking, I'm sick of hearing that. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Fucking throw another shrimp on the barbie. You know what? We don't even call them shrimp. We call them prawns. But anyway, you know. Update that shit. 1980 was a while ago. Speaking of which, shout out to my man Cornelius for putting Stranger Things on my radar. I really love that, man. It's like I'm enjoying it so much. It's like just washing over me, you know. It's like it's amazing. I just want to say late congratulations on making 4 years.
Thanks, buddy.
Been busy, and with all the time zone bullshit, I get lost with it sometimes. Still listening though, still laughing.
Hopefully at us.
I want to say sorry for some of my stupid voicemails, which is just for sort of just to make my friends laugh, Cornelius and Slagoff. That. Feel like a bit of an asshole there.
No way,
but,
man.
I'm going to start soon calling in about a genre of mine, werewolf movies, and in particular the ones from the 80s. So I'll be on topic. Just a quick news update. Wolf Creek, the series, my brother tells me, has dropped on Stan, which is the Australian version of Netflix, one of them. He's going to give me he's key to get into it, and I'm going to watch it on the weekend and report back. I think it's going to be amazing. He's a great director, that guy. Just want to say shout out to all you guys. Wolfenstein,
yeah,
sexy voice.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Mars, funniest guy on the show.
That's not
true.
Looking.
The Roger Ebert of horror.
Nice.
Mr. MZ.
That's a good one.
And I want to hear more from Raven Shadow, man. I was watching an old promo video when I was checking out your music, and this is a cool motherfucker. So if those guys are talking over you, just fuck them up, man.
Thank you, Dane.
Just
Thank
grab
you.
MZ's head and headbutt him back into the Stone Age.
It might happen.
Fucking do that shit, man.
Thank
I want to
you.
hear more from Raven Shadow.
That's my boy there. He's from Australia. He knows.
I want to hear more from Raven Shadow.
Damn, I was fucking sleeping.
You awake now?
Yeah.
You
man.
glad you stuck around?
I am glad, Dane.
Dane.
Academy. This is nice.
It's like
Steve
a
Jobs.
Raven Shadow's like the David Ortiz of Trick or Treat Radio.
Where he shows
He
up
just
the ninth inning?
Yeah, he just pops up and hits the home run. That's all. No,
Like-
not so good on first base, but
Well, he hit a home run right in your ribs earlier.
I'll never walk again. I gotta get up for work pretty soon. I just realized.
The fuck you have to get up for work for?
Don't fucking ask. It's called an install, and it's bad.
Where are they putting it?
Well, I think that's it for voicemail. I know we have an email and a couple tweets. And let me go ahead. Let me get to the email. How about that? This is from our buddy, Jaja Blinks.
Oh, snap.
And Jarrett says, "Hey, Trick or Treat Radio fam. Sorry I couldn't get a voicemail in. I got a sleeping baby next to me, and Wolfie's voice is a lot more soothing than mine. I just realized I can have Wolfie say anything I want. My name is Wolfie, and I have a small... What? What? Like really small. It looks like someone glued an acorn to the bottom of my torso. You son of a bitch. Sorry, I had to. Just wanted to thank you guys for the kind words about the Mind's Eye. Next time I come on, we can chat more about it and obviously talk more about Blinkbuster Video. I miss you guys and can't wait to catch up. I hope everyone is doing good. Marsman, let's fuck soon."
Okay.
You don't have to ask him twice.
No.
Wow.
And
Hey,
he's-
if you do, we'll fuck twice.
And he says, "Eat a dick with love." Jared Blinkhorn.
That guy should write for Hallmark.
Suck a dick. It was in my head the other day.
It looks like someone glued an acorn to the bottom of my torso.
That's a good one.
Jesus.
I'm surprised he didn't turn himself down.
Turn himself down?
You. Normally when somebody says something bad about you, they get turned down. I'm surprised that it didn't just
Well,
automatically turn down.
Turn myself down?
Yeah.
Thanks, JB. JB Blinks. We appreciate it, buddy. And we'll have to definitely get you in studio again soon. Let's do that. All right, looking at tweets here. I'm going to do this for you, MZ. Let me just find... Where's the music? Got it here somewhere.
I'm
there it
sure
is.
it's here somewhere. Oh.
All right, there we go.
Oh, there it is.
This is Chocolate Beast. Give up your tweets, tweets. Give up your tweets or face the Chocolate Beast. Give up your tweets, tweets. Give up your tweets or face the Chocolate Beast. Now get...
All right.
I missed that fucking thing. Where's the chocolate? Did someone did we kill the chocolate? Did Tiny kill the chocolate beast?
I don't know. It's possible.
I hope not,
I hope
man.
not too.
There was one I just remembered. I don't know why it popped into my head, but I remembered the chocolate chic.
Oh yeah.
Recently.
The caramel clutch.
Yes. So, all right, we got a couple tweets here. Radio of Horror says, "Thanks to everyone who came out to the Hall of Comics for some swag."
For some.
Were you there? I wasn't there. I don't know why we get tagged in that.
I don't remember.
All right.
No, I did. I didn't know what was going on, and
Yeah.
I literally it was the weekend that I was having the car problems.
Oh, okay.
So the place that the guy that was helping me fix it was on the way. So I was like, can I stop and get my books? Because the bottom of our car was messed up. I don't know if you saw the thing, right? And so, like, the whole one side of my car is practically off. Like, we had to go all the way up Route 9 with it and, like, get it temporarily fixed for right now so that I could bring it to have it fixed all the way.
Mm-hmm.
My pops was driving, and we're leaving. And, like, I mean, you saw the picture. Demi's, like, flagging us down, like, part of your car is broken. But like, yeah, I didn't know. I just went to pick up my books that they held for me very nicely while I was out for forever. So it wasn't a cheap endeavor. But
he asks Ask Mars on Wednesday, who are you going to call? It may remind him to share and share alike.
Nope.
He will get it if he will get it if he brought them.
Nope.
Okay, I don't. Get it, but.
I did not bring them because I'm not sharing.
Okay.
I'm gonna give Raven Shadow one later because I know he'll be really happy about it.
Ooh. Some Ghostbusters related, I imagine.
Yeah, but he'll be gone by the time they get here, so now I can't have it.
What?
Know what they had that I wanted to get is like Suicide Squad masks.
Mm-hmm.
What? Like cardboard?
Yeah.
Like the free comic book day ones? Like the Harley Quinn?
No, they were like
Batman
like the posters.
Okay.
From the kind of like Mexican Day of the Dead posters from the from the movie thing. Yeah, I didn't get one of those.
All right,
But thank you for those other things.
Cool. Well, I don't know what those other things are, but
because I have a million of them and you guys have none.
I'm gonna get one.
We heard from the Cromcast.
My boys.
Because mostly because I tweeted at them, but they had promoting their latest episode, and it says, "We have been charmed by She Who Waits, She Who Must Be Obeyed. We must podcast about She, starring Ursula Andress." So they just posted a discussion about the film She, Hammer film, which I personally love, and I tuned in and checked that episode out, and it was quite good. And so I responded and just talked about my love of the film. And Cromcast says, thanks. It was a good movie. We had a great time discussing it.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
I really like that podcast.
It's good. Yeah, they sound, the quality's great. They have good discussions.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Cromcast is awesome. And it's not just, Robert E. Howard and Conan.
Nope.
They do a lot of other stuff on there too. And I love the focus on fiction and novelization that they have.
What I love about the show is they're like, I don't want to say subversively, but trickily, like, almost like
what's trickily?
Like I'm looking for a word there. Sneakily academic. Like,
yeah.
Like I'll be listening and like don't realize that like some podcasts, are like overly academic when they're handling that sort of stuff, but like. I feel like that's like my friends talking about it who just happen to be really smart on the subject.
Yeah, so I would definitely check out the Cromcast if you guys haven't already. Just reading their bio on Twitter, it says, a Hyborian podcast focusing on the works of Robert E. Howard, his pop culture legacy, and other weird fiction. So just shows you right there, it's not specifically just about Robert E. Howard, but about his, the legacy of his work and how it affected other aspects of fiction. So pretty cool stuff.
Anybody have Patsy on Punchfarm yet?
Well, no, I have not, but I was just about to transition. That's a nice segue.
Thank you.
Because we heard from Mark Sheets from Punchfarm. He was listening live tonight, and he said, "This is the most non-PC episode opening ever. What is wrong with you?" Ha! I think I crapped a rib laughing. I don't remember. Do we say anything?
No, I just repeated what the.
Oh, that.
Well, yeah, I repeated what they said, but he said something too. I can't remember what it was. About that crocodile eating people. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a horrible tragedy that happened.
Yeah, that too.
With those back in 2000.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, no, so it was pretty on PC.
Okay.
But I wasn't saying.
We've been much worse in the past, though. I will say.
Yeah, I wasn't saying. Yeah, remember when we were live tweeting Ferguson almost that night? That was a bad.
Oh my god, that was one of the pinnacle of bad taste.
That was when I think we took the turn for the.
Yeah.
We had to slow it down.
Was Malcolm Zero on that episode?
No.
We tried to
Tiny-
repent since then.
Tiny, the worst of all, in reality, was on that episode.
That's true.
Yeah.
So what were you going to say about Punchfarm?
No, I just didn't know if anybody had heard it yet.
Oh, I have not.
I'm not saying I didn't listen because Patsy was on.
I thought he was going to upload it early for you.
He did. I don't know if he did. He does sometime because I really love the show. I just haven't listened this time yet. It's purely a coincidence, though, Patsy.
Are you going to listen?
Yeah, I am. I like those guys.
But
Might
I think
turn
Patsy's
off, might
only
turn
on.
off early.
I think
but-
Patsy's only on at the end.
Yeah, I may turn off early. No, that's a great show. Punch Farm, put you in a good mood. All the
Good
hosts.
move? I'll put you in a good move.
Yeah, all the
Sharpshooter.
Yeah, all the hosts are. It would either be the sharpshooter or the Michinoku driver. Those are the only two moves you could give me. I was
That's
too
not true.
fat. I was too fat. Yeah, it's a great show, and all the hosts have a very distinct personality, a very fun point of view, and
Yep.
it's like hanging out with your friends and drinking. So check out Punch Farm.
There you go. So we recommend 2 podcasts there. Everyone, I think that's going to do it, though. Do you guys have any Raven Shadow? You just want to go.
Yeah.
You wanted to go
I want to go
30 minutes ago.
You can come to my house now and be on another podcast if you want.
Yeah, no, it's
if you
let's
tell
talk.
me early in the week, I'll get another splitter. You can come on.
All right.
Maybe they'll let you come on for the Godfather retrospective.
Oh.
Maybe you do it instead of me.
Oh shit. Fuck 'em. Sonny.
You could pull it old school Skype style.
I gotta
Raven Shadow.
friggin' buy those. I'm so mad that I agreed to do that.
Why don't you borrow them from someone?
No one has them.
when is
Everybody I know has them only on VHS.
When's the show?
I think it's next week sometime.
Next week sometime.
Yeah,
Good.
I know. Joe's mad at me because I told him I thought his review was crazy or something. Killing joke, I think.
I'll see if I can acquire them.
Nice.
I know a guy.
Okay, fair.
I just saw a tweet from New Japan World, and it says, English contents is now available.
Oh, good.
I don't know what contents is, but
Maybe they did commentary over the.
maybe.
Diving head to butt.
All right, well, MZ, why don't you say goodbye?
Arrivederci, douchebags.
All right, I think that is going to do it. Marsman, you want to take us out?
Remember, children, wherever you go, there you are.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to episode 211. I want to thank Brian Harris and also Tim from Korea. Those guys are the best. Everyone go check out Weng's Chop. It is a fucking cool-ass magazine. And next week, it's going to be the Wednesday Night Wars. We're teaming up. We're teaming up with Outside the Cinema. It's going to be a good time. So join us next week for episode 212. Till then, see ya!